is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yes, it is. Welcome aboard. Love it. We are coming to you live from beautiful Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be out here for a couple of hours having some fun. I don't know. Let me ask you. I don't know if you can. No, it's all right. Don't worry about it, because apparently Ron DeSantis is going to make some big news at 10 o'clock here. At 11 o'clock here.
Where is he going to be?
I don't know. He's alive somewhere. So
somewhere.
I don't know.
You want me to try to find?
I'm sure it's Corona related. Obviously. You see, Whitesnake and Slipknot just canceled their tours.
I'm not surprised, man.
Yep.
It's there.
We regret to announce that Whitesnake's Japan tour has been scheduled for March, has been unavoidably postponed due to the opening threat of the coronavirus, Coverdale said in a Twitter post. We deeply apologize to all parties concerned, especially those customers who bought tickets and have been looking forward to Whitesnake shows. Slipknot said the same thing. Their statement notes that while decisions like this are not easy, the safety and well-being of the band's fans always comes first. Furthermore, in this case, the band's and artists, crew, and local employees are equally affected as such. This was only the responsible decision that could be made. So Slipknot also bows out from their European tour. Sons of Apollo announced they're postponing the remaining dates of their European tour. Green Day announced it also, that they're out and they're touring with Weezer and Fall Out Boy. So all kinds of others. Mariah Carey, Cage the Elephant, The National, BTS have all canceled overseas plans too because of the coronavirus. So yeah, that thing's going to affect a lot of things. I just hope it doesn't affect our draft here as we get closer and closer towards the draft.
Well, you saw, of course, that Ultra.
Yeah,
gone.
Ultra was gone.
Now it's, what about spring break?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although, it's, okay, this is the interesting part now, all right, because obviously we're going to talk a little bit about this. Ultra Music Festival, for those of you that don't know, was also canceled yesterday. Remember, they've got people coming from all over the world.
Well,
they
said postponed.
Yeah, postponed.
But
right, postponed and whatever. Okay, it's postponed and they'll delay it. In other words, the Ultra Music Festival, slated to happen later this month in Miami, has been canceled, according to media reports. Leaders previously expressed concerns over the 3-day mass gathering amid fears that new coronavirus could spread. Some Miami elected officials had called for the festival that attracts music lovers from around the world to be suspended. The cancellation will be the first time in the festival's 21-year history that it will not go as planned. I will say this. The Ultra people must be like, man, dude, we've always got some issue in Miami. We can't do it here. We got to do it at Key Biscayne. We got to move it. Maybe we don't go back to downtown because they don't want us. Yes, they want us. They don't want us. Yes, they want us. And now they got the corona thing going on. It's like, wow, man, it's just one after another for all of them. But I wanted to bring that up because not everybody feels the same way, okay? Because the Olympics are not going to be canceling. Now watch. The winter edition of the Electronic Dance Music Festival, set to run March 14th through the 21st, has been called off following new restrictions by the French government amid the slowing spread of the virus, right? So there's a music festival in France that they're also canceling now because of the spread of the virus, right? Well, the Olympic Committee is saying, no, we're committed to doing the Olympics. How about that? Yeah. Now, while everything, everybody else is like doing things that are responsible, cutting out these festivals and things like that. The Olympics in Japan, they plan on going ahead with the Olympics right now. They don't plan on any delays or anything like that. And it shows you that they don't care because it's all about money. There's been so much money pumped into it and to set everything up that they would rather put everybody at risk than actually go ahead and cancel it, which is amazing. You know what I'm saying? That you would actually think like that. So the Olympics, they don't care. Everybody else, and they're in Japan. It's not like the Olympics are in Canada or the U.S., or Mexico, like countries like in the northern in North America that aren't having
it's across the world
major problem with corona. No, but it's a major problem in the East.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's right next door to them. Like we're canceling stuff and we're halfway across the world.
Right.
They're right next door to where it's at.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And like you said, man, this is all about money, bro.
That's all it is. That's all it is. I mean, and listen, there's a lot of money to be made at the Ultra Music Festival because those people, I mean.
What did they say? Man, if I remember correctly, I think it's like a 90, is it 90 million that it brings in over those 3 days?
Easily. So the Japan Olympics minister, Seiko Hashimoto, told the country's parliament on Tuesday that Tokyo and other cities in the country have the right to stage the 2020 Summer Olympic Games at any time during the calendar year. A coronavirus outbreak in Japan has prompted the government to close schools and curtail sporting events. Many openly speculate what impact the fast-spreading virus will have on the Tokyo Olympics. Hashimoto's comments undoubtedly will prompt more questions than answers. The IOC has the right to cancel the games only if they're not held during 2020, Hashimoto said, per the AP. This can be interpreted to mean the games can be postponed as long as they are held during the calendar year. Now, the International Olympic Committee issued a statement Tuesday in which it expressed its full commitment to the success of the Olympic Games in Tokyo taking place from July 24th through August 9th. So they plan on going ahead with it. Right at this point in time, they plan on going ahead with it. So they're not going to change their minds. They're not now. While they're committed to hosting the Olympics and they're set to do it, that still, I would imagine, can change if obviously the virus continues to spread, which it is spreading, but it's not as bad as everybody makes it, like the media sometimes is making it out to be. What we all have to be is, we have to do our due diligence so it doesn't become this thing. But, I mean, you just saw that guy in, what was the name? I forgot what city it was, but there was this one gentleman that caught it, and he infected 9 people. And they're all under quarantine. I think it's in Washington also. But like he affected himself, 9 people.
I read a story that a doctor that did a test and the guy came out positive. Now the doctor and all the workers in his office have been quarantined.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah. Exactly. But Japan's like, hey, man, even though they've ordered quarantine on people and all that stuff, they are dead set on going ahead as planned with all of this. So NHK reported confirmed cases have risen to 1,036 nationwide. Okay? That's in Japan. 36 more than the previous day. Another 7 new infections were reported in Japan. Also, plans for the games go ahead were unchanged, but a visit to Japan's Chinese president that was originally planned for early April was delayed following a decision by both Tokyo and Beijing. And this is crazy, dude. They're actually gonna go through with the Olympics on this one.
I see corporate dollar wanting their return on their investment. Yes.
Well, I mean, no. See, here's the thing: if the virus continues to spread, Japan can say they're going to hold the Olympics, but countries are going to start saying, "Yeah, we're not sending our people." And then, what Olympics are you going to have anyway? So it doesn't really matter what Japan wants to do. Okay, I get it. They spent billions of dollars probably in building these stadiums and setting up the infrastructure for the Olympics, so it becomes a real burden for them. But eventually, if it continues to spread, the U.S. is going to say, we're pulling our athletes out, and they're going to block them. And they're not going to allow their athletes, because they can't allow their athletes to go somewhere that then they have to quarantine them on the way back. Because that's what's going to happen.
Right. Congratulations, you got the gold medal. You can't come back to the country.
Now you can't come back to the country. Now you got to or you do come back to the country, but we put you in an Air Force base where you're in a hospital that's a quarantine hospital, and you're there with everybody else. Boy, that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, come on, man. So something's going to have to give eventually with all this stuff. Okay? I mean, there's no way that they're going to keep actually holding these events if the thing starts spreading.
By the way,
Yes.
the city of Miami has estimated that since 2012, Ultra has generated approximately $995 million economic impact.
Okay.
And for 2018 alone, $168 million. Last year,
It's a lot of money.
they're saying $170 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Now,
Bro, wow.
now, but wait a minute. See, that's the thing. It's a lot of money, and everybody's got to look at it that way. But if we allow the coronavirus to spread, we're going to spend a lot more money in testing, detecting, protecting, doing everything that we've got to do with folks. And that's the part that we've got to kind of stay away from. Anyway, so we got that going on. So welcome aboard. We're out at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be out here for a few hours having some fun with all the great folks out here, Steve Ostrob and all the great people at Toyota of Hollywood. If you're looking for a Toyota vehicle, there is no better place than out here at 1841 North State Road 7. And we have got a loaded show for you today. Chad Forbes is going to join us at 11:30. We're going to talk all things NFL draft with Chad. We'll get his thoughts. We'll delve into the Jordan Love situation. We'll see what he thinks of Jordan Love at number 5 for the Miami Dolphins. Tua, all that good stuff. So we'll get into it with Chad Forbes from NFL Draft Bites. Ben Kershaw is going to join us at 1 o'clock. He covers the XFL for CBS. So we'll talk a little XFL at 1 o'clock with him. Ray Ratto, longtime columnist for San Francisco and the, he's been a TV guy there, newspaper with obviously the Chronicle for many years there. Ray Ratto is like a legend pretty much in San Francisco. So we'll talk to Ray about what's going on with the Niners and Garoppolo, and are they going to go for Brady? And it's interesting how you start to look at that conversation. And I told you yesterday, the Niners have a Super Bowl team. If they feel Brady is the difference, then go for it, man. Because when that window closes and you can't take advantage of it, then that becomes a real problem for you. And you then have all kinds of regrets because of that. You don't want to have those kind of regrets. So let's ask Ray Ratto what they should be doing there in San Francisco. So we'll have a little fun with him. Let's see what we got here on the board here. Ty from the Bronx is chiming in as always. Go Gators is in. Peter is in. King Short says top of the morning. Let's see. GPP Central is also in. John Rouse says mock draft. I saw Miami trades 18 and 26 to Carolina for 12 and takes 2 at 5 and Simmons at 12. There you go. That's more mental masturbation, John, for everybody else. What else do we have here? NorCal says, I heard one of the events at this year's Olympics is outrunning Corona. All right. That would be outrunning Corona is an event we're all doing right now. Wash your hands a lot, use sanitizer, stay away from people with colds because you don't know what kind of cold they have, that kind of stuff. Yeah, don't get sneezed on, get a mask, all you know what? And anybody that wants to go to the airport in a mask, bless you, man. Go for it. Go for it. And listen, if you are going to a concert, you are going to one of those events, go with a mask. Why not? Less crap you have to breathe and less sneezing that people will be doing on you, and you end up, snorting up all that stuff and polluting yourself. So
don't become a statistic.
Yeah, exactly. No, man. I get all of you out there if you want to protect yourself.
Hey, for me personally, man, having my allergies and asthma with this respiratory thing that's coordinated with this corona, that's the main issue. Yeah. This would not be good.
Yeah, no, definitely not. All right, let's talk a little Heat last night. Great win last night, and I say great win because it's been an up and down type of year, right? You have the hot start, then you have this middle part where you kind of stunk it out. And now you're on a 4-game winning streak, right? And clearly, man, I have a hard time getting my finger on this team and what they are. And I'm not ready to say that they've turned the corner again and they're like the team in the first third of the season. But you still have to, man, you got to give them mad props. Because, okay, you beat the Dallas and beat the Nets, right? And those were nice wins. But then you go out and beat Milwaukee. And that was an amazing win. And then you have an incredible high. And this is great for a young team because with young teams, their emotions will fluctuate, right? And you wonder, okay, well, are they going to stay focused? Are they going to lose a little focus? And look, it wasn't easy. Terrence Ross had like 35 points. He hit like 7 threes or something last night. He was playing out of his mind offensively. And so the Magic was still the Magic to Miami. Still a pain in the ass. It wasn't easy to put them away, all of that stuff, but they put them away. And even when the Magic would make runs and even take a lead, the Heat responded. And that to me was a really nice test for them, showing their focus. I thought it was huge. And again, not ready to say they've turned the corner because they are young and they could be streaky and this could be just part of it, and then they kind of go back into a funk on losing to teams they're not supposed to lose to, right? They got New Orleans on Friday on the road. So that'll be a nice little test for them because we know what they are on the road. But last night, see, the thing about Miami is if you're going to shoot the way they shoot from three-point range, I mean, life is, franchise record, 22 three-pointers last night. Okay, let's see, what was it? Duncan, 9 of 12, Nunn, 3 of 7, Dragon, 5 of 9, Olynyk, 3 of 3. I mean, it's hard to defeat a team when they're shooting that way from three-point range. And you can't expect them to do that every night, but if you look at the last couple of wins against Milwaukee, Miami was deadly once again from three-point range. And they really don't have a closer on this team because Jimmy Butler is not a closer. He can occasionally take a last-minute shot at the end of games and things like that, but his offensive game isn't good enough to be a closer every night. He's not number one material, And it's kind of, you think about it, they really don't have a number one. Like, Tyler Hero might be the closest thing they have to a clutch shooter in the fourth quarter. He can put the ball on the floor so he can create his own shot, but he's not a closer per se because he hasn't done enough to call him that yet. He has those characteristics, I will say that, of Hero. Now, we can't put the burden on the kid because he's a rookie. He's already exceeded expectations as it is as a rookie. But it's not like it's interesting the way they're constructed. And I was thinking about that last night, that maybe that's also part of their ups and downs, that, they've got to have it going on and they've got to be shooting, because it's not like they can count on, okay, here's the ball to our closer and he can close us every night. That's not the way it goes with the Heat. Jimmy might be doing it one night, and then Dragon does it another night. And then Tyler does it another night. And then Duncan Robinson does it another night. And then it's Bam Adebayo doing it another night. It's not really the one guy like a lot of teams have. Like, okay, LeBron's going to take over. Anthony Davis is going to take over. Kawhi is going to take over. Oladipo is going to take over. That kind of stuff, that certain teams have that guy that can kind of take over for them. And that is the interesting dynamic of this team, which, again, because they're so young, because they are inconsistent at times with their defense and their three-point defense, and then their offensive game, it's kind of it's a different type of offense that you're facing night in and night out. And it's imperative in their case that they are shooting well from the outside, because it's a team that is so powered by it. It needs it, because it's not powered by, the closer type game. And while Bam can do his own damage around the paint and things like that, he's still offensively not at the point where you can hand him the ball at the end of every game and say, we need this basket, close us out. It's kind of funky the way that team works. But, man, it is absolutely impressive to see how well they can shoot from outside. And they've been doing it all year. I mean, that is the amazing part. This is a team that can shoot. This is a franchise that didn't have shooters 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they couldn't hit the side of a freaking barn. They had like Wayne Ellington, and that's it.
They couldn't hit the ocean standing on the beach.
Not even that. Nothing. It was just Wayne Ellington. Nothing else. And now they've got all kinds of shooters. And they're missing two of their shooters. Right? And it's funny how some of you out there, you were using Tyler Hero and Myers Leonard as an excuse when they were losing. And I was telling you can't use that as an excuse, because they beat teams without Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero and everybody else at times. So you can't. And now in this 4-game winning streak, nobody's mentioning Tyler Hero and Leonard Myers, because it doesn't really matter. It helps. There's no doubt it's going to help when you get those guys back. But my point is, they are what they are. And they're going to beat you because they have enough shooters that night hitting their shots, like last night. I mean, when guy after guy after guy is killing it from three-point range. I mean, Rothstein was talking about this last night, how even when he was coaching, whatever it was, 7 years ago, he says, things have changed since then. And it's true. The game is a completely different game than what a lot of us grew up with, what a lot of us saw develop into the 90s, and then what we have now. Because when you go from the ABA to the openness of the 80s in basketball, and then the limited 90s that it was the pound inside game, inside outside
centers,
80s 90s scoring and all that, and now where we're at here in the 2020s, where it is a high flying up and down game, get up as many threes as possible. Guys have mastered this shot now. I mean, Rothstein was joking yesterday. He was like, they need to move the line back 6 feet. Because it's gotten easy for these guys. Now, where the three-point line was a challenge Now it's a challenge for defenses to get at the offense 3 or 4 feet behind the three-point line. That's how much the defense has been stretched out. You don't have to run out to the line. You have to run past the line to get to the defender. I mean, to get to the offensive player as a defender. It's really amazing. Games changed completely, and Miami, with the influx of these young guys, they have put themselves in the forefront of all that. They got their holes. You know, they're not great defensively. They're young. They're still probably underdeveloped physically still, all of those things. They've got, you know, they're far from perfect. But when you've got that three-point shot, it keeps you in every game, man. It really is amazing. It's impressive.
How many three-point shooters do you think we got? Just off the like 7, 8 of them?
Yeah.
That could throw it up
Yes.
on a consistent basis.
Yes.
And you know what? Kind of like the Castnet numbers. I'd say all 8 guys are going to be cold one night. So you're going to have somebody show up and be able to hit the three. You know?
Right,
The
that's what
odds
you're
of 8 guys going cold and not being on one night, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be able to hit the three.
It's weird, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And when they're all hitting like last night,
Yeah.
man, if you can do that, coupled with play defense like we did against Milwaukee, shooting threes and playing D like that, you combine those two things, man, we can beat anybody anywhere.
Yeah, no, I feel you. No doubt about it. Let's see, what else do we have? Mike says, coronavirus in Florida, be careful. It's everywhere, bro. Be careful, period. Daniel says, I believe the Heat will end up with 50 to 53 wins. Well, they're at 40 already. Let's see, what else do we have here? Dominique Veluso says, dang, bro, looking rough today. Did you pull your growing again? What do you want me to do, bro? You want me to look like I'm not a GQ model, man.
Did he say pulled your growing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he remembers the story I told about pulling my growing. Yes.
You know what I'm thinking.
Yes. He's Pellegrino says he's been doing CBD. Yes, I see plenty of CBD. Let's see. Went to FAU versus Miami baseball last night. Nice. George Vidal says the Heat need that guy that you need to score and stop a run from another team when you have to make. Yeah, the Heat need a number one guy. They don't have a number one guy. But, I mean, George, considering where they were the last couple of years, stuck in the abyss with all those bad salaries, and where they are now, I'll take it. I'm fine. I'm super happy. Even when they were struggling, I told you, hey, man, they're having a good year. You know, overall, it's balanced out pretty well. And now they're kind of, you know, maybe getting out of that again. We'll see. But you can't expect them to have everything fixed. The fact that they're where they're at right now, I think that's pretty cool. We're good. We're good. We're getting entertaining basketball. We're getting winning basketball. They're going to go to the playoffs.
We're ahead of schedule, though. We're ahead of schedule.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The Heat are doing fantastic, man. Enjoying life and happy. We are all here and blessed for another day. That's what Dominic Veluso says. Let's see. Veluso says, did you guys see what Omar Kelly tweeted talking about New England is poorly run? Well, they got a lot of titles. I don't know if they're poorly run. I didn't see it, but I wouldn't call New England poorly run when you've got 6 titles. I know it's just mental masturbation, but PFF has Miami picking Herbert. None of that means anything. I mean, I don't buy PFF stats as it is. I think people lean too much on PFF stats, like if they tell you the whole story and not even close. They don't. Dougie Fresh says, I'm a Finn fan but not a Heat fan. I think it's because I do not live in Miami. In your experience, do these two teams have separate fan bases and why? No, Doug, it's because you don't live here. That's all it is. The people that live here, if you're a Heat fan, you're a Dolphin fan, and vice versa, and a Marlins fan and a Panthers fan, and and a Canes fan. Usually, I think most people are hometown fans. Of course, everybody's a little different, and especially young people, because the Panthers have sucked so long. I wouldn't be surprised if they like another team. The Dolphins have been terrible for 20, 25 years. I'm not surprised if they like another team. The Heat is the one that could have all the generations right now because of what they've done the last 25 years. Even the transplants that move from other places like to inherit the Heat because the Heat do things the right way.
My buddy from Chicago. Yeah, he loves the Heat.
Everybody that they move over, they eventually, if their team isn't like the Lakers or the Celtics or something, they're switching over to the Heat. All the other teams, it's a whole different ballgame. That's what I notice out of the transplant people. But the hometown people like me, they're probably fans of all the teams, except for Bill, who likes 14 teams in every league.
Would you? It's everything us, and then the Bears and the Yankees. That's it, and that's just because of birth on the Yankees and Bears since 4 years old.
That's what he tells
That's
you.
all.
Then next week he's wearing a Tampa Bay.
No,
Rays.
never.
They've won like 8 in a row. He's got like a Rays hat on.
Not even.
Braves win 15 in a row. He's chopping. I mean, it's just really it's embarrassing.
No, I
really
I love the Braves. They
really
fly their
is
little
embarrassing.
division pennants. Good
It's
job.
Totally embarrassing. Ian from Brooklyn says, "Good morning, fellas, and you look fine. Let's move on." Hey, bro, listen, I'm not here to I'm not here to pick up women or anything like that. I'm married, man. It is what it is. I work like an animal, every day. So if there are days that I got the bags, what can I tell you? I didn't put my CBD in the morning today. Now that I'm feeling it, I have it in the car and I didn't put it. I usually put it on.
So you got your Invisos in?
Yes, I do have my
Okay,
Invisaligns.
all right. So you're partially together.
Yes, exactly. Sharif says, can't wait for March 17th in free agency. Okay, should be fun. 72 Fins logo says, Big O, you look great. F that foul. I appreciate all of you out there. Thank you all. But I feel good, which is what matters most, right? That we have a what's it called, a good feeling physically. I'm not 100% yet. The leg is still a little banged up, but overall I'm feeling pretty good. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Chad Forbes. We're gonna talk a little NFL draft on the other side. Let's ask Mr. Forbes what he thinks about Jordan Love and some other players. If you have a question you want me to ask Chad Forbes draft-wise, bring it in, baby. Chad Forbes, NFL Draft Talk. What?
Isn't Chad at 12?
No, it says 11:30. Did I get it wrong?
I thought it was noon.
Let me see. No, it is noon. My bad. It is noon. I thought it was 11:30.
Hold all the thoughts that he just said.
Well, yeah.
Push
top
it
of the
back
hour.
25 minutes, okay?
Yeah, top of the hour. Top of the hour, we got to do it, okay? My bad. Top of the hour.
We have a slight delay. There's too many planes in the pattern.
Yeah. Top of the hour. I suck. I'm sorry. My bad. Let me tell you about Toyota of Hollywood before we do break, since we are here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. I got one of those beautiful Supras right there. I've got my beautiful Camry out there, my XSE, which is just a pleasure to drive every single day. And as you know, I would never tell you to go use a sponsor that I wouldn't use, that I haven't used, that I don't believe in. Come on, man. This is why I tell you, my mother-in-law drives a little Corolla there. She loves her Corolla. She's had it, I want to say about 4 years now she's had her Corolla. And that's why I tell you, come on out here, man. They're going to take care of you. The selection is second to none. 1841 North State Road 7. They've got over 1,500 cars and trucks. If you do come on out here, whenever you're buying or leasing a vehicle, make sure you mention our show and say that we told you to come on out here and, of course, purchase or lease a vehicle at Toyota of Hollywood.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We're back. Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on out and have some fun. We'll be out here till, I don't know, about 3 o'clock, something like that. Maybe a little less than that, somewhere around there. Now, I tell you guys all the time here, right? Because I love talking football. You know I love talking Dolphins. And I don't want to ever make it sound like I'm not interested in it or I'm poo-pooing your question, but we've gone over this a couple times, right? And Bill, every time they tell me, hey, let's get into free agency and this and that and this guy and all that, and what do I say?
You hate the hypothetical.
Right, because we don't even know who's
Doesn't
available.
have substance.
Okay, so Trey Turner became a subject a couple days ago because it was reported that the Panthers are shopping the 5-time Pro Bowler who's 26 years old. Problem is, we haven't hit free agency yet, so we don't know, right? And then we started talking a little bit about it, and some of you asked me, what do you think? And I said, yeah, as long as I remember I told you, and give up a 3rd rounder, no more than that. Because if I have to give up a 2nd rounder or a 1st rounder, I have to re-sign the guy because he's got 2 years left at $20 million. So that means at the end of this coming season, I have to re-sign him with 1 year left. I can't let him get to free agency a year later. Only Mike Tannenbaum does those stupid things. And so, guess what happened yesterday? Trey Turner was traded to the Los Angeles Chargers for Russell Okung. And they wanted a tackle, not a draft pick. And obviously Miami does not have a tackle to offer. And so they could not do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I don't get into the free agent talk until there's actually free agency starting and we know who's available and who's not. Because we just don't know. We start talking about guys. Remember the Shaq Barrett thing. A lot of you out there, we're talking about, they should go after Shaq Barrett. Yeah, they should if he's available. Well, now we find out that the Bucks would rather tag Shaq Barrett than Jameis Winston. There you go. So that's the reason why. And it's not because I want to avoid it or anything. It's just because it's a waste of time. And then, see, I want to keep showing you these examples as they happen. So that way, next year and the year after that, because I've done this already the last couple of years to folks, they can kind of get programmed and they can program themselves that you're wasting your time talking about free agents until we get to free agency.
You're trying to embed seeds in our listeners, though?
Yeah, yes.
You hope they grow?
Yes. They're like, hey, man, we all know when we're blind-ass fans, right? Because it happens to all of us. Well, those are seeds that we planted years ago as a blind-ass fan. You know what I'm saying? Because it happens to all of us at one point or another, you know?
Blind-ass fan alert.
There it is.
You don't
Look
get to
out,
play
everyone.
it that often.
We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
There it is.
I had to pull it because we haven't pulled it in a long time.
Let's see. When it comes to QBs, I'm literally like, whatever. If it's Herbert, it's Herbert. If it's Love, it's Love. If it's Tua, it's Tua. We should support whoever we end up with. You know, Dominic, I think as fans, we support everybody. I was never a Chad Henne believer, but I wanted him to succeed. I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. I wanted him to succeed. You know, I didn't believe in John Beck, but I still wanted him to succeed.
They still have that porpoise. I mean, currently the killer whale on the side of the helmet, right?
Yes, exactly. And then Ty follows up with no Herbert. No Herbert blows. Love is the answer. So, Ty, are you also an England Dan and John Ford Coley fan? Since Love is the answer. You probably didn't get that, did you? Huh? Do you know who England Dan and John Ford Coley is, Ty in the Bronx? You're old enough. If not, that, you know what? You should. You know what? We're going to have Love is the Answer queued up for the draft. Just to play a little England Dan. I never thought I would include England Dan and John Ford Coley in a football conversation. But today we have. Because Love is the Answer. There you go. And we'll play that song, okay? We'll make sure that
We're going to play it for 10 seconds because if we play it for 15, YouTube's going to grab us.
Right. So we'll make sure Tommy Rockers has it in the jukebox. And there we go. Okay? Love is the Answer. Same time as Reminiscing from Little River Band. Right around the same era. Same kind of time right there. How about that? 72 Fins logo says Rockville, not the virus, is out there. I don't know what. I hope Rockville doesn't get canceled either. GPP Central says I don't think Herbert nor Love is the answer. The grand prize of free agency is Jameis Winston, IMO, Mr. 5K yards and 30 touchdowns, and I also know the first 30-30 guy. But so what? He pushes that rock, and he gives it away too. Dwayne Hadley says, did anyone know that the Dolphins' first touchdown ever was an opening kickoff return? Of course, dude. Wow, man, what's wrong with you? Yes. Opening kickoff return. And, in fact, it was Danny Thomas running down the sidelines with Joe Auer. There you go, by the way. Joe Auer was the one that made that return for a touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. How about that, Dwayne? Did you know that? That I knew it was Joe Auer making that return. And that Danny Thomas, a minority owner of the Dolphins then, was so excited he was running down the sidelines with Joe Auer all the way to the end zone. Sharif says, Big O, what is your thoughts on the Marlins pitching staff and hitting from the farm system? Sharif, they got a bunch of young guys that we just don't know yet. Okay? We just don't know. They look like Alcantara and all these guys, they look like they got some talent. But they're young and they're green and, you know, I love the Monty Harrison kid. Jazz Chisholm looks like a player. You know, we'll see if J.J. Bleday comes up this year and does something, or is he going to be in the minors? I don't know. But they've got some talent, but Sharif, they're so young that it's an unknown right now. Nobody knows what the Marlins are. They're just young right now. That's it. But it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what else. Good morning, Big O. Did you hear what Jim Nagy said on Joe Rose's show this morning about the QBs? He said he would take Herbert and Love over Tua, likes Tua but questions his durability. Well, that's common sense. Common sense is you got to be terrified of Tua. Okay? Terrified of Tua. Not because he can't play. We all know he can play. Dude can pass the hell out of the rock. Love him, man. Accuracy is deadly. But he can't stay healthy. So, yeah. I mean, look, anybody that doesn't question his durability, I question your logic. I'm waiting for GPP to say Jamie's got LASIK and won't throw. Jameis has got LASIK and won't throw interceptions anymore. Yeah, I think the interceptions are not from his LASIK. Matt Mathrin, or Mathroon, I think. Is that how it's pronounced? I'm really excited about the Marlins. I'm with you, Matt. I'm looking forward to the Marlins season, man. Man of 1,000 Holes says, I missed that sound effect. Well, we'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'll be guilty of being a blind-ass fan, or Bill, or one of you out there, and then we'll play it. Don't worry about it. We're all guilty of blind-ass fans. Nobody is above that. Okay, only Nico Toscani is above the law. But the rest of us are not above being a blind-ass fan. Happens to all of us. Let's see. I don't want us to draft QBs in the first round. Yeah, well, listen, if it's the right guy, take him. Flipside Fishing says, I think all 4 QBs will be successful in the NFL. Reminds me of the Marino draft. Dougie Fresh says, oh, was that obscure reference? What's next? Engelbert Humperdinck? Could be. King Short says, love, rain on me. Ty from the Bronx says, haha, love is the answer. And Playmaker says, why do you all listen to this weirdo? I don't know, Playmaker. I don't know why they're listening to this weirdo. But at least you got the weirdo part right. That I got to give you a lot of credit there, Playmaker. Because I am definitely a weirdo. Dwayne Hadley says, stop cheating on the computer, LOL. Let's see. John says, Big O, Joe Rose has accused you of plugging up toilet with wipes. I haven't even been there in forever. So I don't know how I can. Brother, they don't have enough money. They couldn't even finish that building. They had leaks in the building. The place is a disaster. They'll be in bankruptcy soon. That's the worst part about it, man. They keep eliminating employees because they bought so many stations. Look how stupid they syndicate the same show locally. Like if you had a brain, you would hire a completely different group to do a show on the opposite station, so you can get the entire audience. But that's all right. It's not a really smart company. So what can I tell you? They got a lot of really stupid people in charge. And so, yeah. And again, they probably hire stupid employees that stuff their toilet. So that makes a lot of sense. Big O and fans here, what will the top 9 teams scramble and do if Tua runs a 4.65, then smashes the cones and drills on April 9th? I don't know, and I don't care. That doesn't make a difference at all. SoFlo fan says, I wouldn't touch Jameis Winston with a 10-foot pole. Turnover machine. I'm with you. And Playmaker is still here, and he goes, this dude is crap. I wouldn't listen to this dude if the room was quiet and I was super bored. Got to pick better people to listen to. Yeah, but you're still here, bro. You go at 11:44 and then at 11:46. Why are you still here, bro? I get it, but it's amazing. So you didn't like me, but you like me enough to keep commenting on me. Okay, I got you. Russell Swan says, I don't want to make the same mistakes we made in the Breeze draft. Hey, listen, you don't have the same people here. Okay? So there you go. Rickatic says, shut the F up, playmaker. O is a damn legend. It's all right. Don't worry about it, man. It's all good.
It's the second time in 3 weeks you've been called a legend. And what are legends?
Old. Old. That's all it means, bro. It doesn't mean anything else but old. It means that it's a respectful way of saying, dude, you've been around like too long. Get the hell out of here. Let's see. What's it called? Playmaker. That's why he got fired from 560. Exactly. That's it. That's it. That's what it's all about. Russell Swan is chiming in. Ian from Brooklyn says, wow, there's some fake-ass mofos up in here. You guys are a trip. I love it. All right. Anyway, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also chime in at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. One guy says on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, he says, McShay says, Finns definitely covet Burrow. Everybody covets Burrow, but that doesn't mean you're going to trade for him. So there you go. What are you going to do? Heat rolling now with 4 wins in a row to close out the homestand and closing in on the 3 seed. A little early for the 3 seed stuff, but if they can continue this roll now and maybe they did turn the corner, that would be nice. That would be nice. Again, yesterday was awesome. Yesterday, not because the team is awesome, but because they're a pain in the ass for Miami normally. And because you were coming off a huge game against the Bucks, and you would think maybe your emotions are a little bit of a letdown going into that game, and they did not let up. That was a mature game, is what that was by the Miami Heat yesterday. That was one of those games that like young guys they stepped up in this game and took it the right way and performed at just an amazing level. The other thing I got to talk about, did you watch Nick Wallenda and the walking over the volcano?
I have to say, I actually did catch some of that.
Okay, well, I turned it on and then turned it right off. Did you guys do the same thing?
Basically, yeah.
Once I saw he had the harness, I was done. There was no risk. What's the risk, dude? I saw I know I'm old, but I saw Evel Knievel jump over those fountains and then wipe the hell out, bro. I saw him jump over the Grand Canyon in that rocket and fall short and hit the side of the canyon. And then we're like, whoa, and he's going down. And
what was it, Houston, the buses, right?
Yes. I mean, how many times did I see Evel actually wipe out and break bones? I mean, the thing about Evel Knievel was that he broke, I think it was like every bone in his body, but his pinky or some crap like that was the running joke back in the day. Like you've got 212 bones in your body and Evel Knievel's broken 211 of them or something. Why? Because there was a risk. Oops, he fell. Let's reel him in. Wow. And his wife is on the circle, and she's doing her little thing, and she's got a harness. So what's the risk? Look, I don't want the dude to die and get burned up, in the volcano. Nobody wants to see that, okay? Although, I shouldn't say that. There's probably some sick bastards out there that want to see the guy fall into a volcano. But the second you have the harness on, you are no longer risking anything. At all. You know what I mean? Some of you risk more by eating your wife's cooking. Some of you risk more being on I-95 this afternoon. Wallenda was risking absolutely nothing yesterday. I saw the harness and it's like, oh. Like, he could run across. Because if he falls, he knows he's not really falling. I saw it and it was like, wow. You know what it reminded me of? Saturday Night Fever. The bridge scene. They're all there, and and he slips, and then then Travolta falls. His buddy acts like he's got to reach for him, and he falls. The girl's in the car freaking out. She runs to the bridge to look over because obviously she probably thinks the bodies are in the water at that point, and they're all standing on the ledge there. Ha 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 ha! And she's like,
You could do the PG-13 version. You fakers!
Exactly. Yeah, you fakers. Exactly. That's what it reminded me of. Wallenda falls off that. The harness picks him up, and he's just dangling off the rope. And then what? You have one guy at the end or the other end reeling him in, and then so he gets a free ride. He gets tethered in. That's it. There was no risk at all yesterday. I mean, part of the attraction is the risk. Okay? When you're lion taming, you're not inside a cage while you're taming the lion. No. You're in the cage with the lion. That's why there's a risk. You get it? When you're cliff diving, there's a risk. When you're surfers, they risk way more than Wallenda risked last night. All those guys that surf out west and they surf those big-ass waves.
No, I'll tell you where, at the pipeline in Hawaii, man.
Any of them.
You get wiped out. The coral's
coral,
like 10
right.
feet under the water.
Anywhere where they got big waves was a bigger risk than anything. Wallenda did not risk anything yesterday. Nothing. I turned it on. I saw the harness. I looked at my wife and I go, this is a joke. This is a joke. There's no
and
risk.
I don't think he just had one, man. I thought I saw a couple wires connected to that guy.
Bro.
It wasn't like just one.
Whatever. Is that John? Is he bringing, like, John is coming. Does he have brownies? John, did you bring brownies?
John is here.
John is here.
What's up, brother?
John is here. What? You brought some, what's this? Is this nosberries or something? What the hell is this? Oh, my Lord. He brought some pastellis.
What?
Yes. Biki Bakery. Oye, Biki.
Vicky's, man, you can't go wrong.
There you go. How about that? Ah, yes. Pasteles de guayaba. I love it. All right. Nice job, John. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Yes.
This guy's a beast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, his brownies are awesome. They're not the special brownies, but they were really good. You know what I'm saying? Not those kind of brownies. But if you want to bring those kind of brownies, it's not like we won't accept them either, okay? As long as they don't have corona. No corona-like virus brownies, okay? That was good. Thank you, John. That is really, really nice of you. That makes me hungry. Anyway, so the guy did not risk anything. I'm going to risk more eating a whole bunch of guava pastries than Wallenda did last night.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to beat me to eating all those because I'm in.
No, I'm sure you're in. But, I mean, seriously, I don't know how many of you out there saw the same thing and you're like, whatever, and I'm done. And especially, I hate to be the old man on the lawn again, and I seem to do this all the time, but when you lived Evel Knievel, it's like, come on, dude. Show me something, bro. Show me something. But those guys that build skyscrapers every day and they're walking the beams, they risk more than Wallenda did last night.
Oh, those would be the iron workers, the riveters.
Whatever they're called. They're badasses.
That steel framing inside.
They do something that I would never do in my life. And those guys walk those beams like it's nothing, like it's going out of style. and it's normal for them. They risked more than Wallenda did last night. I thought that was so lame last night. After all that hype, man, you don't deserve to get paid for that. Finn Strong 1 says, what up, Big O? Fonz jumping the shark was more of a risk. Ah, yes. Fonzie, I remember that. Oh, had me stop working when he said some of you take risk eating your wife's cooking. I'm glad he said cooking. Yeah, well, I mean, what can I tell you? Some of you do, So there you go. What else do we have here on it? Just click the 3 dots next to douche's name and select block. Oh no, dude! I don't need to block the guy. If the guy doesn't like me, whatever, it's fine. Listen. This is not a show for everybody. Okay, it's the way it is. And one thing I've learned in 30 years of doing this is you cannot satisfy everybody. You will never satisfy everybody. All right, so that's fine.
We don't discriminate. Even the people that don't like us, we still don't discriminate.
Well, but hold on a second. Here's the thing. There are plenty of people that started by hating me. And then
I did.
Then they well, you still hate me. And they then with time they end up liking the show. They end up appreciating the show. Cuz I've had listeners come up to me and say, dude, at first, I thought you were this, and this, but then, I kind of kept listening, and then I kind of understood who you are now, and I like it. I like you a lot. So I've turned over those kind of people many times over, and I'm sure it's gone the other way. I'm sure some people that like me maybe don't like me anymore. That's fine too, man. That's all right. You're not going to make everybody happy. So if that guy's not happy, I'm good with it, man. That's fine. George Vidal says, Playmaker, thanks for listening and helping the ratings. Bill Dent says, I hope the Russians don't interfere in our draft. No, they probably won't. They'll interfere in the Jets draft. That's what we want. We're gonna pay the Russians to no, actually they might make the Jets better. Let's not do that. Let's stay away from that. Fonz jumping the shark. Mike Dizzle says, Big O, you're as real as they come, bro. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Nico says, driving in Miami is taking your life into your own hands every day. Good luck to you all. Mike Dizzle says, Big O, I want the Dolphins to take a chance on Jordan Talmu from the XFL. He's a poor version of Tua and draft Love and one of those first-rounders. I got no problem with that. I like P.J. Walker, actually. I'd take a chance on P.J. Walker. Somebody should take a chance on P.J. Walker. What that kid is doing, it's worth, because it's what they're looking for in today's NFL. Kid's athletic. He's got an arm. He's accurate. Which, if you've watched this show or listened to it long enough over the years, you know that when I see a quarterback that's accurate, I almost get sexually aroused. Okay? All right? Because the guys that aren't accurate are the guys that turn me off the most, because I know inaccuracy is going to show up in the worst moments, i.e. Chad Henne, i.e. Ryan Tannehill, i.e. whatever. Okay? It is that way. Those guys that aren't accurate, they end up killing you, man. And then when your guy's wide open downfield and it gets overthrown, that's the one that sticks in your memory the entire time, because those are the throws you got to make, man.
And like you always point out, you can't teach it.
No, you can't. Chad Forbes, we're going to talk a little NFL draft. We'll ask him about accuracy. Does Jordan Love have it? That's accuracy. We'll ask him next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
I'm ready.
This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are ready. We take you, of course, till about 3. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can reach out to us at 786-322-1105. We're going to talk to Chad Forbes now in a second. King Short says, anybody going to see the Rolling Stones alumni walker tour? Well, we just had the Stones in town here. I'm not sure, King Short, if you're here in South Florida or you're somewhere else in the country, but the Stones were here just a couple of months ago. So they're probably, I think the tour comes to Tampa, not here, actually. So that would be, right?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So Tampa would be the place. So you can go see, what's it called? Keith Richards do practically nothing in a concert. We're going to try to get in contact here with Chad Forbes. talk a little NFL draft with him. Let's see. King Short says Barbara Eden was the bomb. Why is that a conversation? She was. There's no doubt. I mean, I always wanted to be locked up in that bottle with her. And you just locked me up in that bottle with Barbara Eden, I would have been just fine. Okay? So would be nice. But anyway, we'll get in contact with Chad Forbes. Ben Kircheball is going to join us at 1 o'clock. We'll talk a little XFL with Ben. Looking forward to that. At 2 o'clock, Ray Ratto, who is pretty much a legend in San Francisco. I want to talk to him about what's going on with the Niners and will they go for Tom Brady. So we'll see with that. One guy says, Big O, if Walenda didn't wear a harness, he might not get his participation trophy. Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I just found it really weak when he was wearing the harness. And I get it, it's a volcano, but then there's no risk. And I'm sorry. If you're not willing to do it the right way, I'm not willing to watch. I didn't care because the drama was gone. If he slips, he doesn't really fall. And if he makes it across, he had a harness the entire time. And in his mind, he knows he has the harness. So it's you can make.
I know I can.
You can make a mistake and not worry about it. Think about it, that when you make a mistake, it's your life. That's impressive.
The whole selling point is the element of danger.
Yes.
There was no danger.
Nothing. And his wife's up there doing her little thing on the ring. It's like, yeah, she's got a harness too. You're not going anywhere. Give me a break. Where's the risk here? No risk whatsoever. I just found it weak. Well, we'd having trouble with Chad here? We're trying to get in contact with Chad?
I sent him a text. I've called him. We're in the process of a second call.
All right. So we'll try to get Chad Forbes on. I don't know if I should get into any kind of other talk because then, I start getting into some other talk and then I get cut off and because I've got to go and all that. I'll give you something cool while we wait for Chad Forbes. If you're a Metallica fan, I don't know if you saw this, but remember we just talked about this, I think it was yesterday, that vinyl sales are up, right? In different, not just here, but in parts all over the world. We were talking about Australia and the U.S., how I think it was 13 and 9% where the album sales were up from the previous year. Well, Metallica now has a new fan club or vinyl club. As huge music fans, the band had been super excited to experience the resurgence of vinyl and the enjoyment of collecting and exploring and connecting with other fans mining for lost treasures. So, the new subscription-based service will be available only to members of Metallica's 5th member fan club. Vinyl subscribers will each receive a personalized membership card along with 4 7-inch records. Fans can choose whether they receive the records together at once or spread out throughout the year. Material will include rare cuts, demos, and rough mixes and live rarities, none of which have been released on vinyl before. And in some cases, additional collectibles will accompany the releases. This is just the latest in a long list of distinctive Metallica ventures. Beer, whiskey, timepieces, and ski gear are some of the many products to bear the band's name in recent years. Membership for the inaugural run of Metallica's Vinyl Club are now available at the band's website. The sign-up period closes on March 31st and will not reopen until 2021. A year subscription cost $49.99. How about that? That's pretty cool. And if you're in, and like we talked about records, if you listen to a record, you will hear more of the sound than you do in CD or any other format. There is no better format to really to listen to the entire everything that's going on in that record than with an album. Okay?
You know who already might be a member of that?
Probably Grieper.
You know what? Yeah, because we were just talking about it last week. That guy's been a member since like 86, I think he said, of the fan club. So
I can see it.
If I'm a betting man, I'm betting Greep's already in.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Did you see what happened with Journey?
What happened now?
They fired 2 of their members for trying to scheme against them. Ross Valerie and Steve Smith, the bassist and the drummer, were fired yesterday by Neil Sean and Jonathan Kane. They were let go this week in a dispute over the control of the band's name. The split came almost 35 years exactly after Valerie and Smith were fired for the first time. Journey initially assembled for a long-awaited follow-up to 83's Frontier with the same lineup intact, but internal dynamics had changed. Singer Steve Perry arrived in commercial ascendancy, having just notched double platinum success with his first solo album, Street Talk. He ended up producing 86's Raised on Radio, and that including Casting the Music, which Perry wanted to have more of an R&B feel to the album. As the early sessions unfolded in the fall of 85, Perry became increasingly unhappy with the results. Journey typically worked out songs in the studio with everybody in one room, but this time Perry arrived with extensive demos recorded with Sean at Kane's home studio. Drum machine beats and bass parts were already sketched out, leaving Valerie and Smith feeling isolated. My original strategy was to keep the band intact, not to change anything. He told the Sentinel in 86, we played everything with the original band, but we ended up after 3 months with only a couple of keeper tracks. It was scary because we all saw the group in a different light. The 3 of us wanted to do these songs, but the band couldn't play them, so we had to look and figure out what weak link was. It turned out to be the rhythm section. Perry ended up firing Valerie and Smith, breaking apart the lineup that had seen Journey rise to the charts, Zenith, just a few years earlier in 81's Escape. At that point, the band was hugely successful and egos swell, Valerie said in a Neil Daniels 2011 book, Don't Stop Believing, The Untold Story of Journey. There were struggles for power and control of the band's direction. In that setting, Steve Smith and I left. We had enough. I think it was probably a good time to do so. Journey's longtime manager, Herbie Herbert, vocally disagreed with the move, but said he was overruled by Perry. He ultimately decided to continue honoring the rhythm section's agreed-upon salaries. Of course, that was completely ridiculous, and I forced them to pay as if they were on the tour and everything, Herbert told Melodic Rock in 08. Anyway, so that they go on, all that stuff. Where are we at here? So, Kane goes, it was not an easy decision. These guys were a big part of the band and the sound, but it was the time to move on. 3 years were off. They drifted away from where we were. The 3 of us have been writing the songs, and we just said, we've got to make this record now. It's nothing personal. We got to get down to business. They were hurt, but they were really nice about accepting the decision. So now, fast forward now, these 2 guys, Steve Smith and Valerie, tried to go behind the scenes and try to take control of the band's name. Problem is that Neil Sean and Jonathan Kane are the guys that control the name of Journey, and they make all the decisions.
Like Gene and Paul.
Right.
In Kiss.
Exactly. Same thing. You got to know. Well, we just went through this with Flavor Flav. Okay? You're a sidekick, dude. And yes, you've made a great living saying Flavor Flav and all that other crap, but everybody knows that without Chuck D, there is no Public Enemy because he's the brains of the band. And Jonathan Kane and Neil Sean are the brains of Journey that's left over because Steve Perry was the other one back in those days when they fired those 2 guys the first time around. You know, that was the issue. This time around, well, they had to fire them because they were trying to steal from them in the process and trying to steal the name. So Valerie and Smith end up getting canned. But if you're Valerie and Smith, dude, you know you're not part of the – it's like the Eagles.
Why do these people at a lesser push?
Yeah, you know Henley and Fry are the guys, right? But then some of the other band members have always tried to, try to play a power move, and then Henley and Fry have to then crush you. You know, it's like, know your place, dude. if you're making all this money because of their genius, right? I mean, Flavor Flav, you have made a great living because Chuck D is the man. And if you're on the Eagles, notice how Timothy B. Schmidt never creates any waves because he knows his place. He sings a couple of the hit songs that he has on that with them, but he doesn't try to take over or anything because he knew when Glenn Fry was around, and along with Don Henley, the reason why the Eagles were the Eagles, it's because of those two guys. Because those two guys are the center of the heartbeat of the Eagles. Same thing here. Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain those are the guys that write all the stuff, man. And you're going to try to actually, take over the band's name.
Man, back in the day when you said Frontiers, okay, my Walkman cassette player with the headphones.
Right.
The original Walkman. Yeah, Frontiers was one of the cassettes.
Yeah, no, I've definitely. I remember playing that Frontiers cassette over and over and over and over again.
Raised on the Radio wasn't bad either.
Oh, Raised on the Radio it's a good album, man. I enjoy Raised on the Radio. I mean, these guys are going to try to take over and actually
look. You could feel it. People out there are going to be like, escape, and there's no doubt their best album is by far, from one to the end, Escape.
For sure.
Right? In their own right, Frontiers and Raised on the Radio are solid.
Yeah.
Really good album.
So this is what they did. The pair alleged that co-founding bassist Ross Valory and longtime drummer Steve Smith launched a coup to assume control of the band's corporate entities. Nightmare Productions, Inc., in an attempt to oust Cain and Sean, the key remaining members of Journey. But in fact, this was an attempt to take over. Valory and Smith didn't act alone. The vote to install Smith as president and Valory as secretary of Nightmare Productions Board took place during a meeting held February 13th in San Rafael, California, according to court filings. Steve Perry and the manager who initially assembled Journey were also there, and both sided with Valory and Smith. Sean wasn't at the meeting, but Cain was. He abstained from the vote. The two later decided to fire Smith and Valory and then file a $10 million lawsuit. The action seeks to overturn the board's proceedings and block their former rhythm section from using the Journey name. Which, well, by the way, if you see Journey and it's just Valory and Steve Smith and there's no Jonathan Cain, there's no Neil Sean, and at this moment probably Arnel Pineda, what do you have? You know what I mean? And it's like, Steve Perry, why are you part of this when you didn't want to be a part of the band? You wanted to walk away. You didn't want to be a superstar anymore. You didn't want to be a rock star. You didn't want to tour. You didn't want to do any of this. So now you're going to be part of the meddling too? I mean, that's, And by the way, the new album was kind of weak. So there we go. Angel C. Pena says, that's how they build championship teams. You guys are what, talking football here on this chat board, I guess? Is that what we're doing here? Yes, I can see that there's a lot of draft talk going on. Well, we were going to have a little draft talk with Chad Forbes, but that unfortunately did not happen. He was not there, unfortunately. Let me tell you a little bit about EJD Construction, because we love talking about Eric and John. They've been at this for a long, long time, and I'm not talking about a handyman. I'm talking about custom home construction and major home remodeling. Call them 305-318-4978. That's 305-318-4978. And it doesn't matter what you need, man. It doesn't matter what part of the home, outside of the home, anything that you need to remodel and get done. Maybe you want to improve that kitchen because that special someone's been working for a long time and that kitchen's kind of outdated. It happens to us all. If you've been living in one home long enough, things will get outdated from your bathroom to your kitchen. You want to update it all, call EJD Construction. They do it all. 305-318-4978, and make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. They will definitely take care of you there at EJD Construction. The Panthers are back in action tonight. They will host the Bruins at 7 o'clock. Look, I I've been telling you for a while the season's been over. And this is not a big game or anything like that. This is just, I guess, part of watching another painful end to a season. But what I am interested in this season is how it ends. And I'm not talking about that they'll be outside looking in the playoffs. I know that already. Okay? And even if they were able to sneak in, they were just going to embarrass themselves in the first round. What I want to know is what's going to happen. What changes are going to be made by ownership? Ownership must make changes. Because tonight, I expect another embarrassing night. I mean, the Bruins have the most points in the conference. They're the best team in the conference. The Panthers aren't even close to their level. They're playing at a horrific level right now. It's embarrassing the way they've come out of the break. With everything on the line, you could not choke any more than what the Panthers have choked. And I expect the choking to continue tonight. I don't expect anything like the Heat, that the Heat will show you, that spunk and that fire all the time. They're not perfect. They're young. They're flawed, all that stuff. But the effort's always there, and they play fearless. That's one thing I will say. Whereas the Panthers, they play scared every night. That's why they fold all the time, because it's not a mentally tough team. So more importantly, I want to know, as the disappointment builds towards the end of the season, how long do you wait to send a message to your fan base that this is not what is acceptable? So, and I'm talking about Dale Talon, obviously. I'm good with Quenneville. He inherited this soft bunch. This is the same stuff that these guys have been doing for years now. So it just tells me that this is their DNA, not the coach. No matter who the coach is, you're not going to make these guys tough, and you're not going to make these guys great, which is what you need to be to actually win in the playoffs. These guys can occasionally skate a good game and win one, but they're not the team that's going to out-tough somebody and get physical and be an impactful team week in and week out, or night in and night out, as we would say in hockey. So tonight, 7 o'clock, Bruins and Panthers. I expect the disappointment to continue here. Max Support says, this Journey news is so bizarre. Valerie and Smith don't seem like the types to do something so stupid. Well, apparently they have. It's
You know what I do if I'm the Boston Bruins coach?
What's that?
I show the film of the Panthers coming back on them 4 goals down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to make sure that hey, you remember what these guys did to you?
Right.
And if the guy does that, I bet like 6-2 we get waxed.
Yeah. King Short says, Journey just not the same without Steve. That usually happens, King, to people that don't go to a Journey concert with Arnel Pineda. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. You've never been to that concert, so you don't know. You just assume because Steve Perry's not there. Go see that band with Arnel Pineda, and you will love that concert. It's a great concert. Nobody's Steve Perry. Everybody knows that. But Arnel Pineda is pretty damn close to Steve Perry. In fact, they did a greatest hits album that was recorded by Arnel Pineda. It's a double album. One album is all new songs with Arnel Pineda, and the other one's all the old hits with Arnel Pineda. I have played that for buddies of mine in the car, and they think it's Steve Perry. They're jamming along. Hey, man, yeah, I love Journey. Well, that's not Steve Perry. Huh? So that I usually get that from people. I get it. Any other band that has a replacement singer, I understand. Journey? No. You got to go see it. When you go see it, then you'll tell me, oh, no, this is pretty damn good. This is pretty awesome. That guy does a hell of a job.
I remember the first time that I saw Pineda, that we were there, and we had talked about, if you had a choice, would you rather have Pineda and Neil Schon or Steve Perry with another guitarist.
That's I brought that up. That's,
yeah, and it's, you know what?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, give me Pineda.
That's when you go to a Journey concert now, you will walk out and you will say something you never thought you would say. Damn, they can find somebody that sounds like Steve Perry. Thank God, because they won't find somebody that does Neil Schon. Because you won't get the same guitar sound. It's not the same guy. And when you hear Neil Schon play, let me rephrase that. When you hear Neil Schon shred for 2 hours, because he shreds for 2 hours, you walk away going, wow, dude, Pineda's close enough to Steve Perry, but man, if they lose Neil Schon, they're done. And they are. They're done if they lose Neil Schon. Yeah, that's how weird it is. Anybody else, I get it, replacement singers. But Pineda, he does an awesome job, bro. And let me tell you, the other one that I love, absolutely love, is Queen with Adam Lambert. Nobody's the greatest ever in Freddie Mercury. Nobody will ever be. Nobody will ever come close to Freddie Mercury. Greatest rock singer of all time in my book. Okay, subjective, all that good stuff. In my eyes, Freddie Mercury's the greatest rock singer ever. Okay? But if you go see Queen with Adam Lambert, there is no way you walk away from that concert saying, not that good. No. You'll walk away going, wow, that was a freaking awesome concert. Because they do a great job. George Arthur says, what up, Big O? Excited for free agency in the draft. I also can't wait for the Dolphins to visit my hometown in Vegas. Fins laying the smackdown on them Raiders. I'm with you, George, and we're going to be there for that game, too. Let's see. What else do we have? Brandon Flood says, Arnell is awesome. Cheyenne Moore says, we missed out on Breeze, though, twice. Angel C. Pena says, would love to see the reaction if Miami takes 2 at 5. I think a lot of people would love 2 at 5. I think a lot of people, some of us, like me, I will like, okay, he's injury prone. Like I've said, just take another quarterback, please.
I was going to say, okay, who's the next guy? Who's the next guy that's going to get a quarterback picked? Yeah, because we have to.
Right, exactly.
Got to.
Yep. Cheyenne says, John Beck, Chad Henne, Culpepper, A.J. Feely, Eddie Moore, Satelli for Welker trade. Until Landry, we were cursed in round 2. Yeah. I got the live Blu-ray disc of Journey in Japan playing Escape and Frontiers. Excellent. Without Steve Perry, he says. I know. They're good. Mac McIntyre says, true, Pineda is awesome. The double CD is great. There's another guy. Santana hired Sean way back. Yeah, well, actually, Santana stole Sean from Eric Clapton. Okay? It's Santana's partner back in the day. I forgot the name of the guy, but he goes to Carlos. Look, we got to go see this guy. You're going to love him, but we have to sign him right away because Eric Clapton wants him. So that's how the story goes. Santana signed Neil Schon, but he stole him from Eric Clapton. That's all you need to know, right? That guy was that's how good he is. That Santana and Eric Clapton were fighting for him. And he's like 16 or something like that. Think about that. You're a 16-year-old guitarist, and 2 of the most legendary guitarists of all time, which, by the way, all 3 have a signature sound. Sean has his sound that nobody has. Carlos clearly has his sound that nobody has. And Slohan is Slohan. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty amazing. The eye that those 2 guys had looking at Neil Schon. It's a pretty awesome story. Actually, Tommy Anthony, the guitarist for Santana, who has been on our show a couple times, he's the one that told us that story. And it's still there in the podcast. You can go back. It's on the sound check. And it's like almost an hour interview. It is awesome, in depth as it gets. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Yesterday, we were at VSS West Pines. with Jose and Jason and Tommy and Sasha and all the great people out there broadcasting. We'll be out there again next Wednesday, broadcasting live, 12397 Pembroke Road. And let me tell you, when it comes to CBD, it's helping so many people in so many ways. Whether you want to sleep a little better, you want to sleep deeper, which is what CBD will help you do, is sleep deeper, which maybe also means less trips to the bathroom for some of you guys out there. Anxiety, nervousness, these kind of things can all be treated with CBD, which is all natural. It's not a drug, folks. It doesn't get you high. You're not going to get arrested, none of that stuff. And the staff there also will educate you on all of it. So whatever you're looking for the CBD product, whether it's pain relief, anxiety, you name it, they can help you out. Go to 12397. Visit them on Instagram and Facebook at VSS West Pines.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we're back. We take you till about 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that. Let's see. Ben Kirschabal is going to join us. We'll talk a little XFL with him at the top of the hour. And we'll have a little fun with Ben at 2 o'clock. Ray Rado is going to join us. So we'll ask him about what's going on in San Francisco with all of the Brady talk, which I would imagine that is driving some of these quarterbacks crazy, like we talked about yesterday. You want to see a funny story? All right. So this woman, she is taking care of her plant, right? And she waters this plant all the time. So 2 years pass, and she wants to take the plant out and transplant it and put it into another pot, right? So she reaches for the plant, and she unearths it from the pot, and she realizes that it was a fake plant. So for 2 years, she's been watering a fake plant.
Seriously?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was it plastic? Was it silk? I mean...
Well, from the small beginning with succulent here and a house plant there, the under 35s are now truly engaged with the full range of gardening activities. Industry analysts and survey participants, Ian Baldwin says. Cecil Wilkes is one of those under 35. She told Vice that 2 years ago she was gifted a small potted succulent, which she loved ever since. In a recent Facebook post, Wilkes shared 2 pictures of her plant child and praised it as being overly perfect with full leaves and vibrant green color. I had it up in my kitchen window. I had a watering plan for it. If someone else tried to water my succulent, I would get so defensive because I just wanted to keep good care of it, she wrote. Today, I decided it was time to transplant. I found the cutest vase that suited it perfectly. I go to pull it out from the original plastic container that it was purchased to learn that this plant was fake. It's sitting on styrofoam with a sand glue to the top. I feel like the last 2 years have been a lie.
She never noticed the change. This woman is really observant, right?
All right, so now definitely this is pure content that we all need to know, right? So Wilkes' online confession almost had 10,000 likes, and it's been shared more than 6,000 times. It's a silly story, she said, but I'm finding most people can relate. I don't know if we can relate to like a fake plant. I think
You're just really clueless to your surroundings.
I kind of know what a fake plant looks like, woman. What the hell's wrong with you?
You don't notice that the thing hasn't changed in 2 years.
As for the fake
Seriously?
succulent that started all, Wilkes says that she's keeping it too. I figured I loved it for 2 years. Why quit now? She says she got suckered by the succulent.
Yeah, and her boyfriend's a blow-up doll.
Oh, man. She got suckered by the succulent. That is just absolutely freaking awesome. Can you imagine watering a plant for 2 years that isn't a real plant? And that styrofoam was sucking up all that water too, man. Taking it up. The hell's going on there? Love that.
2 years, man.
2 years,
Seriously?
bro.
And she loved it so much she
2
didn't
years.
pay any attention that it was growing or
Yep.
leaves were falling off or...
Mm-hmm. Yep. Uncle Joe says, I root for the Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Miami Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami. There you go, Uncle Joe. Ivan Chicola says, I've already seen 4 drafts play out. I've seen enough. Okay. Play Action 7 says, I'm sorry, but go look at Chris Greer's picks. And to be honest, he has some great picks, but tell me which GM ever hit on every pick. I swear some fans need to get the facts before talking. Well, the problem is that, a lot of people are misinformed and they're blaming him for picks that he never made. The Finns need a 1977 George Young special. He drafted most of the killer bees in that draft. A stroke of drafting genius. That would be nice when you can have that kind of a draft. Let's see. King Short says, yeah, free agency going to determine draft direction. Yes and no, because they have so many needs. Doesn't really mean that, because you could sign an offensive lineman in free agency. You still need it in the draft. You can sign a pass rusher in free agency. You still need another one in the draft. You can sign a corner in free agency. You can still need another one in the draft. So there are places where you need maybe multiple players at that position. Just because you get one in free agency doesn't mean it's going to stop you in the draft. Okay? Let's see. I love the moves they've made by cutting the fat off and loading up on picks, getting cap under control. That's right, Cheyenne Moore. That's the smart thing. At the way they've set the way the Dolphins have set themselves up, they are in a position of strength, and they have an opportunity to really set this team up in a way like it's never been set up for the future. Never. And that's the beauty of what's going on. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Ryan Tannehill was addressing some questions yesterday with the media on SiriusXM and was asked about returning to the Titans. And he says, I like what we started there last year and the guys that were on the team, and I'd like to be back. We'll see what happens. Obviously, getting down to the last couple of weeks here, CBA and a lot of conversations go back on and forth, and you got to figure out where we are at. We'll see. It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks no matter what happens. So Tennessee, obviously he had a great year last year in Tennessee. He goes, I learned a lot last year being in that situation. I was in last year where I was still under contract. I knew I wasn't going back to Miami, but I was still under contract. Couldn't really do anything. Free agency was open. I wasn't able to talk to any of the other teams or anything like that. They said basically, hey, we're going to try to trade you. My hands were tied. Just kind of had to sit there, and I learned a lot through that. Just to be able to be patient and to wait. And then he says, don't try to anticipate or worry about something you can't control. At this point, it's all just a matter of playing the waiting game. And with Ryan, it's an interesting waiting game, right? Because think about this. Tennessee trades for you. They give up the pick to get you. They don't start you, but they have you as a backup plan. Then Mike Vrabel would have come out and said, he's our guy. Next year, I can't wait to get him back. That never came. So think about this. The guy that took over as GM last year for the Dolphins looked at Ryan Tannehill and said, he's not the answer. We got to move on, and traded him. The guy that acquired him and helped him get to the AFC Championship game looked at him and said, no, he's not the guy yet. So 8 years in the league, 2 different teams now. He finally had the most success he's ever had on a team last year, going to the playoffs, going deep into the playoffs, and yet that franchise does not look at him as the answer. So when Ryan says he's got to play the waiting game, he's also got to play that mental game that's going on in his mind. That, damn, dude, I had a great year, and yet these guys didn't believe in me. They didn't want to re-sign me. Why? I was excellent. But like yours truly and some other people out there, we kind of looked at it for what it was. He made a couple of throws in every game, but mainly it was Derrick Henry and that defense. That's what you were surviving on. That's what you were thriving on. It wasn't that Ryan was scaring defenses or anything like that. And so now he wants to return, but yet on the other side, he's not getting that same kind of love. And that's because Vrabel is like, well, you know what? I don't want to overcommit to this kid now because I may have better options in Tom Brady, in Phillip Rivers. I don't know. I don't know if he's even thinking Phillip Rivers is a better option than Tannehill. Obviously, Brady is. I don't know. Are they even thinking Jameis Winston? Who knows? You know, maybe Vrabel's like, hey, we got the kind of running game that we don't have to have Jameis Winston throw it 40 times. In our offense, we only need him to make a couple throws, and Lord knows with that arm, he can make those throws. Who knows? But it's interesting that Ryan feels one way, and yet the team that he played for and got to the AFC Championship game has not returned that same kind of love, has not shown the same kind of enthusiasm about him returning. In fact, they've been quietly reserved. They've been very strategic with the way they've answered the questions about Ryan Tannehill. But at no point did they ever make a full-out commitment to Tannehill. Just, I found it, kind of intriguing that one side feels one way and yet the other side does not have that same feeling. Okay, what else do we have here?
What do I have here?
What do you have there?
I have an incredibly fresh and amazing guava pastry.
I can't eat them yet.
John,
I'm on the air.
You are the man, bro.
Can't eat them yet, John. At 2:30, I'll start eating them.
You better take a break because they might be gone, man.
They're stuck all over my Invisaligns right now, so I just I'd rather not. Because I'll eat, but then I got stuff stuck on my teeth at the moment, and I got a drink, and all. I can't do this on the air. You know what I'm saying? So I can't do that on the air. Anyway, so if you want to get in, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there. I'll give you a funny story. Look, don't get too technical with me on all this, and don't get personal on all of this, okay? It's just stupid politics. So I'm not on either side, not a Republican, not a Democrat, okay? I make fun of both, all right, just so you'll know. But Mike Bloomberg, you saw, dropped out of the race, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, and he spent millions and millions and millions, right?
Wasn't it somewhere in the 500 million area, I think?
Something like that. Yeah.
Not that, what has he got, 62 billion, so that's, whatever.
Right. Well, listen to this. With $500 million, Bloomberg's now defunct presidential campaign spent on ads alone, the former New York City mayor could have paid off a lot of people's student debt, giving his employees a hefty bonus. The billionaire didn't skimp on the 2020 campaign. Bloomberg, who self-identifies as the boss, spent more money on advertising alone than any other candidate in history. Just weeks before Super Tuesday, he spent $500,000 on Facebook ads across 11 states. He also opened some 200 offices across the U.S. and hired thousands of very well-paid employees, although some of them were just in it for the cash. All in all, Bloomberg spent 0.8% of his net worth on his campaign. And all he got was a win in America Samoa and a measly 50 delegates. He would have needed 1,991 to clinch the nomination. Now that the bid is over, here's a look at what else the Democratic candidate could have bought with the money on something else than what he did. Cheez-Its. It's no secret that Bloomberg loves Cheez-Its. So much so that he has a cheese snack cracker all around the Bloomberg LP headquarters. With the money he spent in ads, he could have bought himself more million family-sized 21-ounce boxes. Bloomberg's company headquarters is in New York City, has almost 20,000 employees around the world, and in London, Singapore, all of that. He could have given employees a $25,000 bonus. Instead, of course, he spent it on his campaign. With all the money he spent on advertising, Bloomberg could have paid off student loan debt for about 30,000 Americans. Wow. The median debt for people who took out student loans is about $17,000, according to Pew Research Center. The Bloomberg campaign proposal to fix college affordability had a price tag alone only of $700 million. Not all that much more than Bloomberg spent on 2.5 months of ads. A man spent $500 million in 2.5 months of ads. Hiring a Spanish tutor comes out about $400 a week. Bloomberg could have paid for an entire month of Spanish classes for 312,500 Americans, or 312,499 to be exact. A tutor might also benefit a Bloombito himself, considering his mixed attempts at Spanish on the campaign trail. Your mortgage. Americans who applied for mortgages in January of 2017 were asking on average for a $309,000 loan, according to Mortgage Bankers Association. With the cash he spent on loans, Bloomberg could have paid off 1,600 mortgages. The MTA, North America's largest public transportation network, provides services 24/7 and averages a ridership of 8.6 million on a weekly basis. The cost of a monthly unlimited ride Metro card is $127. He could have bought monthly passes for a whole year for more than 328,000 New Yorkers. Menstrual products. Women spend on average $6,360 on menstrual products over the course of their lives. Bloomberg could have bought a lifetime supply of tampons and pads for 79,000 women. Okay? All right? There you go. My man could have spent that money on a lot more things that could have helped so many people out. And he could have helped all those people out and then say, I support Biden. That's it. Because that's what he's doing now. So he spent $500 million on absolutely nothing, and now he's just going to go support another candidate. I don't love that.
You know, it's one of the programs that's supposedly gotten hit hard. Thank you, Cutback Trump, in the wrong place. The school lunches.
Yeah.
And, of course, those kids that are getting those meals, that's probably one of the only meals they're going to get of the day. So you take that away, man. How many hungry kids do you have?
He could have fed a lot of hungry kids.
You know what? He could have taken care of, I'm sure.
$500 million of food for
kids.
Man.
Come on.
You know what? If Bloomberg does
That's
that.
selfish. That is selfish.
If Bloomberg, instead of spending money on ads, he actually goes and uses that money for good, he would have gotten more votes.
You are You know what, man?
You know that?
That's a hell of a statement.
You know
That's
that?
Incredible.
All he has to do,
I love that.
All Bloomberg has to do is not buy ads, have the media cover an event where you actually paid for 10,000 people and their student loans. And people would have seen that and, whoa, wow. This guy went to a food bank and dropped $100,000 in money for that food bank. You know, I like that Bloomberg guy. He's doing good things for good people, hardworking people. Look at these people. They had student loans. He paid off. That instead of the 50 delegates, maybe he gets a lot more instead by doing charitable stuff. instead of paying for ads and all that stuff when you had
self-serving, self-promoting.
when you had no shot whatsoever to actually win the race and go after Trump. I mean, it's crazy, right? But look at all that money that he spent, and he could have actually done something really, really, really productive with it.
It isn't like we haven't seen this before, man. This was a carbon copy of Ross Perot, bro, back in the day.
Ross Perot. We're going to work. We're going to work. We'll work every day. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. We're going to work, and we're going to get voted. There you go. No, you're not. Let's tell you a little bit about Moodius Dental. We love talking about Eric and the family. They know what they're doing. I'm watching my teeth change every single day. I am amazed. This is why I tell you all the time. Call them, 305-821-0231. Save it on that cell phone, man. I'm telling you, whether you want to get a filling, you want to get root canal, you want to get a crown, implants, Invisaligns, and the Invisaligns are so awesome. I use them every single day. I have them on every day. It doesn't get in the way of me doing my radio show at all. That's why they are comfortable and they are effective, because the difference already in my teeth, it's night and day from just a couple of months ago. Call them right now, 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. And visit them on the website. Tell them that Big O sent you, MoodiusDental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcomeToRockvilleFestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcomeToRockvilleFestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We told you we're going to switch gears a little bit here, talk a little XFL. Ben Kirchhoff does an excellent job of covering the XFL for CBS. Getting ready for Week 5 action. You can follow him, by the way, on Twitter at Ben Kirchhoff and catch his work there at CBS. Ben, how you doing, my man?
I'm well, thank you.
It's good to have you on again and talking a little XFL. I thought it was a pretty cool story coming out of St. Louis where they're actually going to open up the upper deck at the what's it called, man? Is it called the Jones Dome still, Edward Jones or whatever that thing is called? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, there's a long formal name for it, but for all intents and purposes, it's just called the Dome. You can just call it the Dome, and people know what you're talking about.
The Dome, the former Dome where the Rams played. They have been filling up the bottom. So now in Week 7, they're going to open up the top against L.A. I would imagine the XFL is loving this kind of news that the crowds are growing there in St. Louis.
Well, it is. It's nice for them. Helps when you're winning.
Yeah.
That's a real big part of it. You got to have a team that comes out and wins right away to catch some interest. Here's what's going to be really interesting. What do crowds look like, not just in St. Louis, but all around with the coronavirus? I think that's going to be a real big thing. But, as far as, what the XFL is really hanging its hat on, the attendance is nice. You want the games to be well attended. And there are some restrictions based on stadiums. Like, the St. Louis is playing in the Dome, and so you go, okay, we're getting a little under 30,000 per game. We feel like we can open that up, maybe try to get closer to 40 or something like that. But, in Los Angeles or D.C., where you're playing in an MLS stadium, your limitations are half of that. And but, percentage-wise, you're looking at, okay, how full is it there? But for the XFL as a whole, your money is going to be made on television contracts, any partnerships you might have with gambling or fantasy, and engagement with that, with your fan base. So these things are nice for them, but it's not like 32 individual NFL franchises where you're trying to monetize it in every single possible way. The XFL knows exactly where its revenue stream is going to be coming from, and quite frankly, it's not going to compete with the NFL on those fronts. But you take the wins where you can get them, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I listen, that's the thing that we've got to all get past. I think you and I do that already, but I think the general public, we're too focused on comparing it to the NFL and all that, and we cannot do that because there will never be a comparison to the NFL. They've got to it's kind of like the ratings thing. Like some people, they get hung up that the ratings dropped a little bit, but if you look at it overall, compared to what's on television, it's still doing better than a lot of sporting events that are on television.
Yeah, and so whereas, football season comes around, like on a Sunday afternoon in the fall, we know where everyone's eyeballs are going to be. Well, in the springtime, that's divvied up much more. Like I was covering an XFL game a couple weeks ago, but you know what? Even I wanted to watch Lakers Celtics. Some people are going to, want to watch Lakers Celtics, or they're going to want to watch something else. But you have this little in-between time where maybe you're not watching the Oscars, or maybe you're not watching an NBA game, and you go, okay, I can take a few hours, and this has my attention, either in the background or something else. And those ratings are always going to drop. Like week 1, you had like a 3.3 for a Saturday game. Well, it's going to dissipate in the successive weeks. That is anticipated. Everybody knew that was going to be the case going into it. But you want to be able to try to level that out in the long term, keep more of your hardcore audience while continuing to have some casual engagement. And then over, if this thing is able to survive 2 or 3 years, when you get to the point where you're going to renegotiate your broadcast partnerships, either with the same companies or take it out to the open market. Whatever it is that you're going to do, you have something you can say where, okay, in this time of the year where you're still dealing with NBA regular season, NHL regular season, we have a pretty sizable share of people's interest.
I'm with you. So walk me through this, bro. What the hell happened with the New York Guardians? They woke up, huh? Finally.
Yeah, they did. I was in Cheyenne visiting family. I didn't watch that game. I turned it out. I was like, you know what? I got other people working. I'm going to just go and enjoy my time off. I didn't watch any Week 4 XFL games. I know that's probably not great for all the other questions you're going to ask me, but I will say this. I was talking to a player for the Guardians when I got back, and you know what? One thing that it kind of speaks to is, other than about like the two teams at the top, St. Louis and Houston, who have really reliable quarterback play, for about 6 of the other 8 teams, traveling across the country or traveling far is very, very difficult, especially for a lot of these guys if they're not from the NFL, where you're used to the rigors of the travel that is associated with playing in the NFL. So the reliability isn't there, maybe like it is in the NFL. And then on top of that, it really gets sort of compounded when, again, if you have some inconsistent quarterback play, and in Los Angeles' case, it's not necessarily on Josh Johnson's shoulders, but the other side of that is if you get a guy like Luis Perez who comes out and has, a good game, and I remember him from his AAF days, he's limited, but he's okay, and if he comes out and he has a good game, then in that 1 week, it kind of propels that team forward. So I think what you've seen over the past couple of weeks, even just beyond the New York-LA game, is you've seen sort of this upside-down results, front is back type of thing, black is white, because you're seeing a little bit more of the depth of the league, where a team can catch fire at different points or have a good week, or something finally sort of clicks for them. You've seen that with New York a couple times. You've seen it with Tampa Bay, I think, the past couple of weeks as well. So it's just sort of interesting, again, outside of like the top 2 or 3 teams. It's interesting to sort of see the roles flip-flop a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. And I got to say, man, I owe Taylor Cornelius an apology. That kid played well, and the Tampa Bay Vipers, another team that was kind of down in the dumps, they bounced back with a big win against the DC Defenders.
Yeah, they did. Well, they found a running game, too. I mean, that's the other thing. I'm actually getting ready to talk to the offensive coordinator here probably sometime this afternoon for a feature, and, Mark Trestman handed off some of his play calling responsibilities over the past couple of weeks. I think that has been a big help for them. Again, when you don't have real high end quarterback play, having a running game helps. I mean, it's going to help anybody, but I think it's been especially beneficial there. Jacquez Patrick, Devion Smith. I mean, those guys are 2 of the top 3 running backs in the league right now. And when you have that type of reliability where defenses have to be able to defend it and honor it, it opens up a lot more in passing game. And, Taylor Cornelius isn't an amazing player, but he's certainly good enough to dissect zone coverages if you have a play-action game to go off of. And that, even though they haven't won the past 2 weeks, they're 1-1 in that stretch, they've really taken a step forward on that front.
Yeah, no, I'm with you all the way. Ben Kircheball, by the way, who covers the XFL for CBS, joining us here. You can follow him on Twitter at Ben Kircheball. And, Cornelius played really, really well. What are you hearing? Is there any more buzz on P.J. Walker? And are you hearing any buzz from NFL people on P.J. Walker? Because personally for me, I want the Dolphins to take a stab at him. And then Jordan Ta'amu also. First of all, how is that last name pronounced? Because every time I hear the broadcaster kind of like changing it up a little bit. And 2, is he the other guy that people are like, well, wait a minute, this is another guy we may have to bring over to this league to try to develop?
Okay, so it's Ta'amu.
It's Ta'amu, okay.
And okay, so I'll answer the first part of your question first. As far as P.J. Walker is concerned, I haven't heard anything from NFL side, but that's also not where my sourcing is. I'm way more on the XFL side. Here's what I can tell you about Walker. Someone is going to take him because of what he's done. The XFL is the middle ground between college and the NFL, right? So you can, maybe for a team that doesn't necessarily super need a quarterback, like the Dolphins really need a quarterback, or someone else really needs a quarterback, they're going to go with like a Tua or a Joe Burrow or something like that, because you can invest in long term, and they've got more of the size and the tangibles that you want. But from what I've been told about Walker, is someone will pick him up because he's an electric playmaker, and there is value in a solid backup or a possible fringe starter. But the knock on him is his size. He's 5'11", and while he's somewhat athletic, he's not lacking in that department. He's not like a Lamar Jackson or a Pat Mahomes or something like that. So he doesn't have the pure freak athleticism to compensate for the fact that he's undersized. On top of that, his accuracy is good but can be erratic, and I think he's fit really well in this June Jones system. What happens when he goes someplace else that doesn't run very simple offenses with lots of option routes, and you're really based more on timing and chemistry with your receivers. So someone's going to pick him up, but I think those are the things that you have to understand about him moving forward. But that being said, I think, you could even argue the Houston Texans, they love Deshaun Watson, but my God, that guy's never going to play 16 games in a season because of how often he gets hurt. You would be, if you're the Texans, you look, say, hey, here's a guy in the same city who that, we wouldn't have to pay a ton of money, but we would feel really good about having him on our depth chart as well. So I think for Walker, you're looking at a situation like that. And for Te'amu, the guy just needs reps. I mean, a lot of these guys need reps, but I think that's very, very true for Te'amu. He has a lot of physical attributes, and I think he's been very sharp in his passing. He just needs time. I mean, the guy that I talked to with the Battlehawks is like, this is good practice for him because he's never had to lead a professional football huddle before. He didn't even make one off-season team. So he just needs time and to get the cadence down, to get the command down, the leadership down. So I think for Te'amu, you might see him if he doesn't, get picked up for a backup job, this next year. I think you might see him say, hey, I'm going to come back for another year or so and bet on myself and show that if you give me some time to play in a professional offense, I can show that I can do this, and then maybe it increases your chances down the road.
Interesting stuff. Ben Kircheball joining us here, and of course he covers the XFL for CBS. Have you heard anything how they will assess the end of the first year with these teams? Have they talked about relocating any of these teams? Have they talked about expanding the league? What are kind of the plans since we're kind of the halfway mark of the year? I'm just wondering, is there any buzz, any talk on the XFL side on anything possibly changing wise for the league going into year two?
I think you got to crawl before you can walk. You got to make sure that this is even going to work before you can start. Think about you relocate, add teams, shift it around. You got to give this thing a fair shake. And now, it doesn't mean they won't tweak some things. I don't think it's going to be on that side of it, though. I think you'll probably see some. Take a look at how do the rules work? Do we tweak anything on that? What about our in-game broadcast? Those types of things with our media partners. They've really hit the gambling side of it more. Do they need to dive even deeper into that? I think you're going to see them really re-examine some of the sort of intricacies of it, but I don't know that they're ready to look big picture just yet.
All right. Cardale Jones, we'll wrap it up with this. Is he about to lose his job?
Play like that again, yeah. But, again, the backup quarterback's always the most popular guy on the team, right? I mean, so for Tyree Jackson, you're going, hey, how come you don't put him in? Well, the simple answer is almost always, if he was that much better, he'd be starting, but obviously Jones has not played well in the past couple of weeks. It doesn't solely fall on him, but obviously the quarterback's always going to get the crux of the blame. I think truth be told, Cardale has been maybe hyped up a little bit too much in the first couple of weeks because of the team's success. I thought his accuracy was a little bit off. So, again, he's just one of those guys who he needs more time, but after a while, you're not willing to lose for the guy. So I think if he comes out and has a third bad game, you're talking about a full-on, quarterback battle. I wouldn't quite call it a controversy, but a full-on quarterback battle for the defenders. Absolutely.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Ben Kircheball. Ben, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time talking a little XFL, my friend.
All right, thank you.
You got it. There you go. Ben Kircheball from CBS. Good stuff there. Talking some XFL. And Cardale Jones looks terrible, dude. Terrible. The Te'amu kid, He's intriguing. I mean, I love P.J. Walker, but this Tiamu is the other guy that you're like, okay, this is another guy that, JJ says Marcus Mariota for the XFL. Hey, you know what? That might be his next stop after he fails in his following one, because he's going to get one more shot.
That's about his speed.
Somebody's going to give him one more shot in the NFL. He'll fail there, and then he'll go to the XFL. That'll be the right move for him.
He does have a name. Everybody knows who Marcus Mariota is.
Yeah. The question is, can he play? Because the one thing I'll give the XFL a lot of credit is they're not after people just for names. They want to make sure that you can actually play, so they can. Because see, like I just said, P.J. Walker and Tiamu are going to add credibility to their league because they went and found guys that slipped through the NFL cracks, performed, and they developed, and now they're going to go, get an opportunity in the NFL. That goes kudos to the XFL and their personnel people that are finding players that others weren't able to find in the NFL. So I think that's really, really, really important. What else do we have here? Big O, how much is the bird dogs you're getting per sale? Huh? How much is the bird dogs you're getting per sale? Dude, I have no idea what you mean by that. Okay? John,
you know what a bird dog is, right?
Yeah, I know what a bird dog is.
Hunting.
Yeah, but Big O, how much is the bird dogs you're getting per sale? What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. I mean, sometimes, are you guys like, are you like smoking like are you drinking? No, they're not even smoking. You got to be drinking, right?
They're day drinking?
Yeah, something's going on. Because you send me some stuff like, what the hell is that?
Maybe they're on vacation, bro.
Damn. George says, good chance if he ran for president after investing in those things, he may have won. Think about that. Angel Pena says she dropped out today. She's never going. Is that Elizabeth Warren? I don't know. She dropped out? Man, that poor woman. You know that poor woman couldn't win Massachusetts. Her own state. She came in third place in her own state.
She missed her window. It was 4 years ago. That's when she should have ran, not this time.
And you know what's the funny part is that if you lose your own state, I mean, how in the hell do you have any hope? How did she not drop out right after that? Like, she waited several days. Like, what the hell are you reassessing? The amount of ass kicking you're getting?
We had that happen here in this state. Do you remember Bob Martinez from Tampa?
Yeah.
He didn't even get elected by Tampa.
Right.
Dayton Broward put him in, right? Tampa didn't back him. And he's the guy that took all the money away from lottery going to education.
Bob Martinez.
Under his watch.
The fake Hispanic. The guy that has Martinez and doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. Gotta love that. I would feel like Elizabeth Warren, like our downloads every day, the top city is Miami. Like, I would feel like Elizabeth Warren if Miami wasn't our top city in downloading. Like, it has to be. You know, it's the city that I'm raised in. It better be the number one city for downloads. Oh, man. Alex Diaz says, I agree with you on the Dolphins draft. They need to let the draft come to them. Don't trade away the future just to move up. I agree. Let's see. JJ says, I've heard the bath salts are crazy in San Francisco. Hey, Big O. Raul Aguilera says, I am the Dolphins. I will draft Jordan Love, not Tua. History never fails with injuries. There you go. So you heard it. Raul Aguilera says that they're going to draft Jordan Love at number 5, not Tua. Okay? There you go. John Rouse got into an interesting conversation on the chat board. He says to Cheyenne, hope you're a chick. Cheyenne says, sorry, John, I have a penis, and I'm not transitioning. John says, I'm puking now. Cheyenne says, sorry. You still love me or are we breaking up? John Rouse says, love you in a different way. These are the conversations you are missing on our YouTube chat board. And don't forget, by the way, to give us the thumbs up there, okay? While you're watching the broadcast, share the YouTube broadcast with others out there. Send the link to a friend on text, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Share. You know, sharing is caring. That was a good conversation. Oh, that's too funny.
That's almost better than the lady watering her plastic plant.
Yeah, no, well, that was better than the entire show. That was the show right there. That exchange right there was the show. Guaranteed that was the show right there. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. You know, I was talking with Ben now how the XFL, the St. Louis Battlehawks, are opening up the upper deck in the dome because they've filled up the bottom, so now they're going to open up the upper deck in Week 7 for their home game. The XFL also has a new partner, the School of Rock. That's right. The leaders in performance-based music education have scored a touchdown with its newest partnership with the XFL. School of Rock students will help provide family-friendly live music performances at XFL pregame tailgates and also sing the national anthem at many of the league's games this season. How cool is that? School of Rock, we know we're one of the best tools in music education, is live performance and a taste for what it's like as a gigging professional musician, said Rob Price, CEO of School of Rock. This partnership with the XFL is the perfect opportunity for our students to gain experience on real stages and interact with large crowds of passionate fans. How cool is that? School of Rock students are gifted young musicians, and in each of our markets, they are helping us create a fun game day experience, said Jeffrey Pollock, president and COO of the XFL. This partnership is another part of our music and entertainment strategy. We love the energy these young people bring to the XFL. How about that? That's a pretty cool story, man. I kind of like that they're part of the School of Rock and the XFL got together. And that's a great opportunity for these young musicians that they're going to get to, perform in pregame and the national anthem in front of crowds. Kind of gets them used to being in front of crowds and gets used to, making mistakes even in front of crowds, right? Not that you want to, but things are going to happen. And you want to be comfortable in that environment when you're succeeding or even if you're, struggling a little bit there. Alex S. says, hey, Big O, what are the chances Miami throws us a curveball and signs Teddy Bridgewater as their franchise QB instead of drafting one at 5? I don't think they will. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is just a jag, so I would say no. But, Alex says, I heard the podcast the other day about the Knicks and a diehard fan since the early 90s. It's very unfortunate where this once great franchise has got. Well, it's only the owner, dude. You know it. Alex, when you're stuck with a bad owner, Jeffrey Loria, you get the results. It's what it is. And this is all James Dolan, unfortunately. What are you going to do? Let's see. Finn Strong 1 says the Finns should take Justin Herbert. Ray Grulon says Jordan Love is tempting. Big O needs to develop, but I sense he has the it factor. Just a thought. Let me tell you, you watch Jordan Love enough, and there's no doubt that he has that it factor to him. That he's got some special skills, man. But at 5, he's still too erratic and inconsistent to spend. 5 is not a project. 5 has to be a guy that you like. See, Tua is not a project as a passer. The guy's a badass passer. Tua's problem is he can't stay healthy. So you're taking an injury-prone player at 5, but you're not taking a project. And I can't take, in my top 10, I can't take a guy that's a project. That if he does this, if he does that, he'll be this. No. I need the kid that I know is going to be a badass. All he has to do is adjust to the game speed. The defenses, the offenses are a little bit more sophisticated, so you'll have to know a little bit more at this level, those kind of things. But I got to teach you how to pass. I got to teach you accuracy. I got to teach you pocket presence. I got to teach you whatever. No. You got to have that already if I'm taking you at number 1, number 3, number 5, number 7, number 8. I got to feel like you're complete. The only thing is you need experience at this level. That's how I have to feel about the player. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. You know what? Speaking of bad owners, let's talk about that bad owner, James Dolan, because the Spike Lee story got a little uglier yesterday. So we've got that going on. What else do we have? Tom Brady. He is getting serenaded. He is getting recruited by a big-time person in sports. We'll do that next right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
Big O Show. This is the 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 Big O Show.
All righty.
This is the Big O Show.
Back. Coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood. We love being out here, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on out and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. As always, out here, we're out here every Thursday at 11 a.m., always rocking. And, of course, don't forget to give us that thumbs up while you're watching. Share the YouTube a broadcast with a friend, a family member, somebody that loves sports, loves stuff that goes on locally here, since we're always talking about it. Now, sometimes, we also talk about the national stories too. Yesterday, 2 days ago, Spike Lee going to a Knicks game was detained or detoured, in other words, from his normal path of using the employee elevator that he's used for like 25 years, right? And obviously that whole thing went viral with Spike screaming at the security guard, and it's all ridiculous because James Dolan is an absolute joke. And James Dolan continues to have problems with people there, which it makes no sense. Charles Oakley, as you remember, that guy was forcibly removed from the Garden. Charles Oakley, okay, like one of the most beloved Knicks players of all time, is a guy that was forcibly removed from that arena. So Oakley was on Golic and Wingo, and he was talking about the mess that is James Dolan, how they treated Spike Lee.
This man been buying tickets for 28 years, over $10 million, and you question him out if he come this door, that door. What is this man problem about control? He's so much of a control freak. And he hurting the whole NBA. If I'm an owner of NBA, this guy headline every other month, every other week with something that don't have nothing to do with winning. It got to do with individuals, people's life. We shouldn't be going through this. Them days will be over with, this control freak and all this. That. It's a corporate business. It's a business. You have to have people to work for you, so you have to get along with people to succeed in life. You guys, any time of operating business, you need people to work. People shouldn't be stressed out working every day.
And, there's Oakley. And look, none of that he said is wrong. I mean, again, the guy's been buying tickets from you for 20 years. He's been using the same elevator for 20 years. You never made any kind of effort to tell him to use something different because he said it, okay? And you never agreed on it after. It's amazing how the Knicks will go, and especially James Dolan, will go out of his way to lie. I don't get it, man. These are people that you're supposed to treat like gold. Your franchise is absolutely garbage. Spike Lee is better known than anybody in your organization in the last 20 years. You have nothing. You have accomplished absolutely nothing as an organization, okay? You should be honored that Spike Lee still goes to your games as it is.
The Prez has made lying chic.
Right. Well, so now let's go with Oakley, all right, and talking about Dolan now.
You won't see everybody in life succeed, do better, no matter what business. But when you see a business like this, year after year, it's keep not on the basketball court, having problems off the court, trying to get people to come there. They're not coming there because it's a bad toxic situation, because it's so much control going on. Eagles, and don't let people who are supposed to be business run a business team, owners, sometimes sit back and watch. But this guy wanted to be the CEO, the head operator. He wanted to be control of basketball, every little thing go on. And it shouldn't be run like that. It should be run with a group of people, not a control freak. So my thing with the Knicks going forward, it's, the league is a different league now, and it ain't a lot of talent, so it's hard to get talent to come. But when you get that piece, you got to keep it. So my thing, the Knicks, only way they're going to get a superstar is they get lucky in the draft. That's the only way I can see, because these other guys, they see what's going on. They don't want to be around that kind of environment. Can't make a phone call without calling, can't do an interview without calling. That's too much control.
There he is, and he's right about that, and that's where they put themselves, although it's still funny, right, because you have writers that fall for it and fans that fall for it, right, that every year you think the Knicks are going to lure a big-time free agent. And it's like, what have you been watching the last 20 years? Big-time free agents aren't going to go there. And with Dolan treating, can we add something to all of this? Everybody seems to be black, right? Whether that's the case or it's not, those are the optics. You're forcing Charles Oakley out of the arena. Okay, a beloved player, he's black. Now you're having problems with Spike Lee, who, dude, the guy spends millions. Let him use whatever entrance he wants. Spike Lee should be able to come in any door he wants. And like he said, they scanned my ticket. So he didn't need to go in any other entrance. He's been going through that same entrance. Let him go, dude. He's Spike Lee. He's not trying to do anything. He loves your stupid team. And so whether it looks racist or it's not, those are the optics. Whether you like it or you don't, it makes James Dolan look that way. And last time I checked, most of your players in the NBA are black. So those players are going to say, I'm not going to work for that guy. I see how he treats Spike Lee. I see how he treats Charles Oakley. How's he going to treat me? Think about that. If you're willing to treat Charles Oakley that way and Spike Lee, what Knick player on the roster right now has any value to a Knick fan base more than those two guys? And one of them doesn't even play. But Spike Lee is more of the identity of the Knicks than James Dolan is. In fact, I bet if you actually put both guys up and said, which one do you want to own the Knicks? Every Knick fan on the planet would love Spike Lee to be the owner. Nobody wants James Dolan to be there. And that's basically what Oakley's saying. This is a guy that's hated. And the guys of value aren't going to go there. You know who's going to go there? A broken down Joakim Noah to steal your money. That's who's going to go there. You'll get a free agent. You'll get Joakim Noah and you'll overpay for his broken down knees. What'd that guy make, like 70-something million in 4 years, right? I think this might be his 4th year still or something like that. What Oakley said is 1,000% right. And that's because the owner has put himself in this position. In the position to be hated, in the position to be questioned, and in the position to be labeled a racist. Whether it's true or not, too bad. But those are the optics that you're putting out there as an organization. 786-322-1105. That's 322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. The other story that's out there, and we've talked about it several times over the last couple weeks here, and it continues to grow, is Tom Brady. It's the biggest domino in free agency that is going to affect so many things, and we talked about it yesterday on all these other situations that Tom Brady is affecting, a lot like LeBron when he would make his decision, and Kawhi and others, that there would be a domino effect, and there will be with Brady. And one of the teams that's been mentioned has been the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, Dana White is also a Bostonian, but he has now made his living and his life in Las Vegas. So yesterday, Dana White was on Instagram, and he had a Instagram live chat with the GOAT, Tom Brady.
The question everybody wants to know. Now, first of all, I'm a Boston guy through and through. I want you to go with the Patriots, but let me make my last pitch. Las Vegas would love to have you here at the Raiders. The stadium, the facility is incredible. The training facility that they have outside of Vegas is unbelievable. It's a 45-minute flight from LA. Your kids and your family could live there. You can fly back and forth. We want you to come to the Raiders. I've been pitching you now for a month. I love you too. Come on, brother, get to Vegas.
Thanks, man. I know it's been a lot of patience for me. And obviously being where I've been for 20 years, it's been an amazing experience. And I don't know what the future holds right now. I'm just trying to be patient through this process, my first time going through it. And in the meantime, I'm going to spend a lot of time with my family over the next 10, 12 days. And we got a little vacation plan, which I'm looking forward to.
Good for you, my brother. We can't wait to find out where you're going. And good luck with everything. And thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it.
There you go. So no commitment, obviously. You weren't going to get an Instagram commitment from Brady, but you've got a guy like Dana White, rooting for you and wanting you to go to Las Vegas. And, hey, look, man, this is something that maybe Tom Brady wants to enjoy for once. He wants to see who wants him. And, look, we've talked about this, how these stories rarely end on a positive, where John Elway is walking out into the sunset after back-to-back Super Bowl wins and all that good stuff. Those storybook-like endings are so rare, man. It usually ends ugly. It usually ends 62-7, and you got bone spurs in your arm, and you're ending that way, or you're Joe Namath and you're broken down in a Rams uniform, or you're Willie Mays and you're in a Mets uniform, all broken down. You're Sugar Ray Leonard and you're getting knocked down by no-name boxers, and just the way it is. Muhammad Ali hung on too long and was taken, and this is probably why he got the Parkinson's and why we lost him. It's probably because of the ending of his career in the last few years, where he took a beating and he didn't have to. And it's just so many of our great athletes, they don't walk away from the game in a great moment. So the fact that this is ugly should not be surprising to people. And so that's why Tom Brady was never recruited. He never got this opportunity. And I know some people are kind of pissed because Brady's always been a kind of under-the-radar guy, and this is the more over-the-radar top stuff that we've ever seen from him. We've never seen him do any of this kind of stuff because it's never been in his DNA. But this is a game he has to play, ladies and gentlemen. Understand that. Because if he stays under the radar and Don Yee is working his agent, everything behind the scenes, and nobody finds out about it, then how do the Patriots know that there is leverage out there? You get what I'm saying? So this is the way Tom Brady reaffirms to Bill Belichick that, I'm the GOAT and people want me. And I know that the owner probably wants him back, but that's a power struggle that's probably going on between the owner and Belichick right now as we speak. Remember, when Jimmy Johnson took over the Dolphins, he wanted to trade Marino. But Wayne Huizenga told him, Jimmy, you can do anything you want with this team except trade Dan Marino. Do whatever you want, but you got to win with Dan Marino. And Jimmy kind of wanted to do the same thing he did in Dallas. Get rid of Herschel Walker, get rid of Dan Marino, bring in a bunch of picks, turn it over. And you know what? In hindsight, okay, hindsight is always 20/20. It would have broken my heart. The best thing for Marino would have been to get traded that time. Right when Jimmy came in, that was the best, because Jimmy really he wasn't able to overcome it. So, and Dan kind of broke down, towards the end. So maybe it would have been better if he would have ended up in Pittsburgh or Minnesota like they talked about back in those days. So Brady has to have the Raiders court him. He has to have Tennessee inquire. He has to have San Francisco's interest. If Indianapolis is also interested, go for it. The Bears should be interested, those morons. I mean, all of that. Because if Belichick and the owner are sitting there and then they're settling for Andy Dalton or something else, maybe the owner is the one that says, yo, Bill, we can't go down this road. We got to get Brady back. Let's go. He's being wooed by San Francisco. Let's bring him in. Well, I got to have this guy finish his career here. I don't know. We'll see. But that's where this stuff gets interesting. And that's where I think this fight gets interesting. But understand that even if Brady doesn't like to do all this public stuff, which normally he wouldn't, in this case he has to. Because he's not getting the love that he deserves from his team. So it's just like Dwayne Wade being wooed by Chicago, being wooed by Denver, and then Pat Riley and Mickey Arison kind of talking about all of this. Fans and media are either complaining or writing about it, saying, whoa, how can you let Wade go? And then you have all of that. And so it's kind of leverage. So in a way, there is a method behind the madness and why Tom Brady has to do things this way. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. What else do we have here? Myron says, James Dolan is not only a horrible owner, he's also a horrible musician. God, is he awful. The Knicks are going nowhere with him owning. No doubt. Dougie Fresh says, speaking of Oak, remember when people would come into the middle and try him? Wham, bam. Yep. Yeah, you didn't try Oak. Mike No Go Zone says, right now Tom Brady is the hot chick at the club who everyone is trying to get with. Yep. Steve Neal says Tom Brady knows no free agents are going to New England since he's in his last year. It's well, I don't know about that. If it's a free agent that's at the end of his career and this is the year he needs to win a championship, maybe he goes with Brady because he's got a shot that 1 year at a championship. Cheyenne says, if you're an owner of an organization or establishment, you can't let a guy come in writing out on you, dogging the F out of you in your own arena. You look weak. Oakley ain't innocent. I disagree with you. Oakley did nothing wrong. Okay? Oakley did nothing wrong whatsoever. The problem is the owner is extremely sensitive about the fact that he's terrible, and everybody points out that he's terrible. So that's the problem with that. Brady is more like the rich housewife, Pastor Prime, hanging out at the bar, buying dudes drink, who she will never be with. Okay. All right. But the rich housewife still might find somebody because she's a rich housewife. You had to throw poor housewife in there, Doug. Remember, men are dogs. So if you got a rich woman, there's going to be plenty of dogs lined up there, man. Let's see. King Short is asking what bar she at. Andy Raphael says, JJ, leave sports alone. Drewbo says, hello, O and Bill. Fins Nation, rise up. Yeah. What can I tell you? All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk to Ray Ratto. Speaking of Tom Brady, right? Let's get a little bit into what's going on with Tom Brady and San Francisco. Is Tom Brady's heart in San Francisco? Tony Bennett's heart was in San Francisco, right? Question is Tom Brady's heart going to San Francisco? More importantly, is San Francisco in love with Tom Brady? I know Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't want them to be in love with Tom Brady. He had enough of Tom Brady waiting for his turn in New England. That never happened. Now he's got his turn in San Francisco. Is Tom Brady going to take it away from him? Will John Lynch say, yeah, I like Jimmy, but not enough. I need better. Ray Ratto has been a long-time columnist in San Francisco, radio personality, but an overall legend in that town. He's been around for a long time. He's old like I am. He's been around that town a long time, like I've been around in this town for a long time. So two old guys are going to talk, and we'll talk about Brady possibly going to San Francisco with the legend that is Ray Ratto next.
You won't see everybody like.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Running the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, yes, sir. We told you we're going to talk a little Niners football. Ray Ratto, of course, has been a long-time columnist there in Northern California, radio host, all that. Overall, just a stud there in that area. Been there for a long time covering sports, a legend, as we would say. And you can follow him on Twitter at Ratto Indy. Let's bring him aboard. Mr. Ratto, how are you doing, sir?
I'm awake. I'm sober. It's the best I can hope for.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. All right, Ray, so you start hearing about this flirting with the Niners and Tom Brady. How much of this are you buying that they say they may not be convinced with Garoppolo as their guy?
I'm not buying very much of it because I think there's a risk reward involved, and Kyle Shanahan is a little learier of the risk than most. I think the problem you've got with Brady is that even though he had very few weapons in New England last year, there is the sense that you don't know how much he has left, and even if you could squeeze one more year out of him, is it enough to win a Super Bowl? And if not, do you have to then go find a quarterback from scratch? I mean, one of the great advantages that they got in the original Garoppolo deal was that it solved their quarterback problem for at least 5 to 7 years, unless Garoppolo is a complete disaster, which he has not been. And I think, there are few enough elite quarterbacks as it is. And if you don't have Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, you're basically dealing with a quarterback who's going to have flaws. And Garoppolo's flaws, I think, are, if not repairable, you can at least mitigate them to a certain extent. While with Brady, the aging process is both unknown and relentless, which is if he shows up there and the problem was not that he didn't have weapons, but that he's just aging out, that doesn't reverse itself. You go from really good to old and in the way pretty quickly. So I think for Shanahan, I've always thought that this is a backward step for him, even though Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I mean, you get into trouble if you start thinking that football players are invulnerable. I mean, eventually they all get it, and this might be Brady's time to get it.
Right, and see, the part that I guess we don't know, and maybe you may not even know either, Ray, is are they convinced that Garoppolo is the guy? Because you're right that if you go get Brady, it's only 1 or 2 years, and then you got to go find somebody. But if you know your window is now to win a Super Bowl, and in 2 or 3 years you got to pay everybody, and you won't be able to keep everybody, and you know how it is, Ray, in that league, that you're not able to keep everybody, and then the window closes in on you, kind of like the Jets years ago when they went to those 2 AFC Championship games with Mark Sanchez, and then the window closed. Little did they know that was their window, and without a better quarterback, they weren't able to take advantage of it. So that part that's intoxicating, okay, you're sober right now. You're not intoxicated. But they may be intoxicated right now on the fact of winning a Super Bowl and that Brady is the key. So then does it become worth it if he is the key to unlock that Super Bowl in the next year or two? And who cares if you need a quarterback 3 years from now?
Well, one, Shanahan does because he's under contract 3 more years.
Okay.
2, you never know when your window is going to close. And you just alluded to that yourself with the Jets. Thirdly, and I think this is probably the most salient point, he, as the general manager, I mean, he doesn't have the title, but he runs the football operation. As the general manager, he built an elite-level defense and an excellent running game out of, 3 guys who really didn't project to be excellent running backs. I think in part because he didn't want to put it all in Garoppolo's hands. Not because he doesn't think that Garoppolo is good, but because unless you have, like I say, Pat Mahomes, your quarterback has a limitation or two, and you've got to figure out how to work around that because quarterbacks don't operate in a vacuum. So I think if he believes that the things that Garoppolo hasn't given him yet are things that he could, then he would be foolish to change. But I think more to the point, he's built this team around defense and running at a time when everybody else thinks, oh no, you've got to put points on the board, put points on the board, put points on the board. Well, they went 15-3, and really the only thing that prevented them from winning the Super Bowl outright was the fact that Kansas City has the most dynamic offense that anyone has seen in nearly forever. So I don't believe they lost the Super Bowl as much as the Chiefs won it, because I thought going in, the Chiefs were the better team, and they showed it at the end because they can put points on the board immediately. And that's even against elite defenses like San Francisco's. So I think when you look at it that way, you have a more charitable view of Garoppolo. The other thing about the window is that I believe the stat is 18 of the last 19 teams to lose the Super Bowl did not go back the next year. So the window may have already opened and closed. So, who knows with football is weird in this decade. And it was weird in the last decade, the one that just ended. I think Shanahan, I would rather go to battle with the devil he knows than the devil he doesn't. Now, if it was 5 years ago, this is a no-brainer. We're not having this conversation.
Right.
The 49ers are going through, walls of fire to get Brady. But it's not. I mean, everything is timing and context. And the context now is that they were pretty happy with Garoppolo this past year. And people who, have expressed doubts about him, they point to a game in which the best quarterback in football, operating the most dynamic offense in football, beat their defense in 8 minutes. And the fact that people are still concentrating on the 2 throws that he made in the fourth quarter, one of which was a near pick, and the other one he missed Emmanuel Sanders on what would have been the game-clinching score, frankly, seems to me to be a small case being made there. I don't love Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I don't care. But he has been harshly evaluated by people who thought he was supposed to be magic. And the truth is, the only magic being done by a quarterback anywhere other than Baltimore is in Kansas City. And everybody else has to deal with what they are and what they aren't. And, that's just the nature of the beast. And what we really have here ultimately is people bitching about something that you probably don't really need to bitch that much about.
So Ray Ratto, of course, joining us. And Ray, is San Francisco, at least, is Shanahan playing a little bit with fire? I know players have to be mentally tough and they got to do all that stuff, but you do want to show your guy love and respect. If they are flirting with Brady, if there's some open flirtation that goes on, are they playing with fire with Jimmy? Because I know he's under contract and all of that, but you're still telling him, yeah, no, we don't believe in you. Even if you flirt and still go back to Jimmy, are they playing with fire in San Francisco?
That depends on how they present it to the players who have already spoken out against the move. For instance, George Kittle.
Yep.
I think if they go to them and say, look, we listen to everything. Okay, we didn't act on this. All right, we like what we have, but part of the job of being the general manager is to listen to every cockamamie offer with an idea that one of them might strike and make us better. I haven't heard them say anything about this, And there's no evidence other than the cryptic phrase mutual interest that indicates that they want to do this. So that'll be part of Kyle Shanahan's job when this is all over. And if they keep Jimmy Garoppolo, they have to say, look, we listened. I mean, we'd listen to a trade for Kittle. We'd listen to a trade for, Nick Bosa. Doesn't mean we do it. And the fact that we didn't do it tells you all we can tell you about how we view Jimmy Garoppolo. Because if you decide you don't want Tom Brady and you'd rather have this guy, that can be turned into a statement of faith that very few quarterbacks can match. And they just say, yeah, we listened. We listened the last time when we asked about Brady 3 years ago, and we ended up with you. And we've been very happy with that. So really, I think, if Kyle Shanahan is the silver-tongued devil that everybody says he is, he ought to be able to sell this. If they do go to Brady, I think it's going to be a lot harder. They're going to have to sell young players on Brady's resume because, last year, without weapons, you saw the vulnerabilities in Brady. And to me, I think players who have, had a great year always wonder, well, why are you screwing with this? So I think ultimately the 49ers are not going to do this deal, and they'll be able to repair whatever damage happens.
And Ray, it's kind of funky because all throughout the league, okay, Brady's not getting that love right away from New England. Like, no, he's going to be our guy. Tannehill, even after the year he had, most people think it was more about Derrick Henry in the defense, but he's not getting that love right away. Cam didn't get that love right away. It was like, well, let's see how healthy he is and all of that. Garoppolo not getting that love right away. Jameis not getting that love right. It's interesting how, and for different reasons for all of these quarterbacks, but it's still kind of odd how in this offseason, it's not like there's a bunch of these teams that are going head over heels saying, hey, stop wasting time. The guy's not going anywhere. He's our guy. Those teams haven't said that.
Well, it's because they like to shop for anything. I mean, it's just the notion that there might be a quarterback on the market makes general managers drool all over themselves. But ultimately, what you find, and you have to have followed football for long enough to recognize this, is that most of the time, when you make a big change, you regret having made the change, especially if you're the team that gives away the better player, because those are the players you can't recreate easily. There is an unlimited supply of talent, but there is not an unlimited supply of great talent. So I think, the question about love, some of that is cost control. It certainly isn't the Brady case. In the Jameis Winston case, it's about 88 turnovers he is directly responsible for in his last 50 games. With Tannehill, it's, well, yeah, you were really good when you were handing off to Derrick Henry, but if Henry leaves, can we trust you? It's just, in every situation is slightly different, and it's all interconnected with the people around him. I mean, Brady did not have a great year because the people around him weren't very good. It's just, when you separate quarterbacks from the rest of the field, you start to misunderstand football. Quarterbacks are only as good as the five guys in front of him who can keep him upright, the guy he can turn around and give the ball to 25 times a game, and the guys he can throw to 30 to 40 times a game and complete 25 to 35 passes. I mean, that a quarterback by himself has won no games. How do you interact with the rest of your talent? That's the key, and that's one of the reasons why the harsh judgment on Garoppolo seems to miss the point. I think they scored the 40th highest number of points in the history of the NFL last year. I mean, those all didn't come on defensive turnovers.
How much of a message are the players sending to that front office when they're coming out and back in Jimmy G? That's got to be something they've got to think about too, right? Because you're not trying to massage just the quarterback. If you do go chase Brady, you talked a little bit about it earlier, you're going to also be massaging that entire room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I mean, a coach has to massage the room every day. That's not avoidable. That's part of the job. And one of the reasons why some coaches fail is because when they massage a room, they don't do it well. You've got to be able to sell yourself as well as coach others. And this is going to be a sell job for Kyle Shanahan either way. I think and I think the players will know they're being sold, but it's a question of whether you trust your boss to act in everybody's best interests. And I think, it'll be an easier sell if they keep Garoppolo than if they move him. But either way, Kyle Shanahan will have to work the room some because, again, that's a daily checkoff for every coach.
Ray Ratto, of course, longtime columnist there in San Francisco, joining us talking a little Niners football. What do you think they're going to do in the draft here at the back end of the first round? Where are they going?
I think they would like for some wide receivers to fall, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Their bigger problem is that they don't have anything in the second, third, or fourth right now. So they're going to basically have day 2 off unless they're going to frantically try to do deals to move up in the draft. But in terms of, what the mock drafts I've looked at today, nobody can agree on anybody. And when you're picking 31st, that's the way it goes. I mean, they have a need in the secondary. They have a need at wide receiver. They might even have a need at linebacker, although that seems to have been ameliorated somewhat. At some point, they're going to have to deal with Joe Staley, finally aging out. He did not have a great year until the second injury, and then he healed up, and then he was much better. But, he's at an age where he would be thinking about retirement. So there are 3 clear places they can go. So I don't think they have to commit to anything unless they've fallen in love with a guy and are willing to trade up to do that. I think their bigger task is going to be figuring out how to sign Eric Armstead, how to take care of the other guys under contract they need to take care of, because they are not flush with cap room the way they have been in past years.
Ray, I'll let you go with this. Does it look like the owners once again will get the better of the players in this CBA by using it looks like they use the lower rung players against everybody else by raising that minimum salary, and they it just seems to me like they're suckering them into this deal where they should be getting more of this pie and more guarantees, and I don't see it. What are your thoughts on the players and the owners here?
My thoughts is the players are not going to beat the owners unless they're willing to walk or endure a lockout and stay united. And the biggest problem with the NFLPA has always been when you're dealing with 1,700 clients, it's hard to keep them all corralled. And a lot of them, because these are short careers, want to get their money up front, and that all plays to the benefit of the owners. So until they're ready to, basically go out and say, we want guaranteed money and we're not coming until we get it, or we want a better pension and we're not coming until we get it, they're going to lose. If they sign this deal, they're going to pay for this for another 20 years, because if you snap at the first thing somebody offers, those guys are skilled negotiators. They're not giving you their best offer immediately. And if they snap for this, it means they are weaker and more fractured than they've ever been, and that not only the leadership has failed them, but they failed themselves.
Follow him on Twitter at Ratto Indy. He is the great Ray Ratto. Ray, as always, thank you for taking some time, man. Always appreciate it.
Okay, stay dry.
You got it, baby. There we go. Stay dry and sober. That was the key right there. It's still early for Ray because it's 11 over there, so he's got to stay dry. There you go. That's good stuff, man. Good interview with Ray Ratto. He's always awesome. Legend, man. Freaking legend.
I mean, if it's 11 and you're drink, that's morning drinking, not day drinking.
Yeah.
That's morning drinking.
Yeah. All right, so some news is out. I already knew about this. I just couldn't say anything. Ray Hudson, the colorful retired English soccer player and former Miami Fusion coach and Strikers player, will be joining the Inter Miami broadcast team, according to sources with knowledge on the deal. The club plans to announce its local broadcast deal next week, but it leaked out that Hudson will be involved as the color commentator. There you go. How about that?
That besides Beckham, right? are the two biggest names to the organization
Yes.
so far, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, he's.
I knew about that. I knew about this like 3 weeks ago. I couldn't say anything.
Wow, they kept. Why did they? What are they sitting on that type of information, man?
Just whatever.
Wow.
He will. He will
Dude,
call.
he is South Florida.
He will
soccer.
call all the games, but he does call it Clásico. So like, if a Clásico is coming, he will then maybe miss a game or two, throughout the season for a Clásico. And so, something like that, then that'll be different. But overall, you will get him for all the games. But there's a little nugget that you're not going to find in the paper. You're only going to find here because I knew about it. I just can't say anything. I know who's his partner. I know the other ones. I just it's not in the article, so I can't say it. So now it's in the article. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for telling us what was out there, and
I can. I'm just
not divulging anything else.
They swore me to secrecy, bro. But it's going to be fun to hear Ray Hudson call the games.
There's a bunch of soccer people on their way over here to waterboard you. Waterboard you and get information from you.
I have some info that sometimes I cannot share.
Those soccer people are fanatical, man. Don't put it past them to be over here and waterboard you to get info.
In fact, when Michelle was on, and I think I said it in the interview. You can go back and listen to it. I think I said it when she said, they'll be announcing they'll be putting up, saying who the announcers is. I thought I said, I kind of know already. I just can't say anything, or whatever. I think I said it. If not, I wanted to say it at that moment, but maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Go back and listen to the interview for the Inter Miami report. But yeah, I had known about Ray being the guy 3 weeks ago.
That would be yesterday at the end of the day. I think it was segment 16 or 17.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Hey, man, that was pretty cool to have Ray on. That guy is all time.
Yeah. And we'll get him on. We'll get him on. He'll come on my show anytime, man. I've known Ray for, God, forever.
You know what's one thing I totally agree with him?
I worked with Ray because we both worked at the Fusion.
Yeah. What was it? Dak Prescott's another one. Like, nobody wants to make a commitment.
Yeah, it's another guy. He's our guy no matter what. Jerry's like, yeah, he's our guy if the price is right.
Look, we're here. I go down the block, and there's a better guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's it. Yep. Let's see what we have here. Company Barney says, afternoon, Big O. Have you talked about the Hurricanes? No. Are you talking like the basketball game last night that they lost? I don't think there's football-wise. There's nothing, my man. At least I don't know of anything that. Is there any big news or something? Let me look it up here and see. I don't see anything. Oh, Michael Irving II, the son is transferring. Yeah, he's not that good anyway, so no, there's nothing, man. Remember, they don't get to watch practice, the reporters, so they don't really get to see anything. So there really isn't much. So I don't know what you want me to do to talk about the Hurricanes, Company Barney. You got to tell me, my man. I don't know what maybe I'm missing something. But I just pulled up the Herald here, and I don't see anything that's new there. Myron says, I disagree with him. If my Niners want to win the Super Bowl, Jimmy G is not the guy. He makes too many mistakes like the interception. Well, I mean, listen, Myron, you're not the only one. There's other people that don't like Jimmy G. And then he follows up with great interview. Thank you, sir. Dougie Fresh says, that might have been the best interview intro ever. Well, I don't know about that, but, it's always good to have Ray on. Ray knows his stuff. He knows that community really well. He's been there a long time, so I figured that we'd bring him on to talk a little bit about that. So there you go. All right, it is time for us to wrap it up here on the program. We love you, as always, out there for tuning in. We thank Bill and John, as always, Steve Ostrov, all the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood. We're out here every Thursday. Tomorrow, remember, it's 2 shows. Every Friday, we do 2 shows, 9 to 11 a.m. at Craig's Inn Acura, and then 1 to 4 p.m. at Hialeah Park.
If you got nothing to do for lunch, go to Hialeah, man.
5 hours of rocking tomorrow on the program. Yeah, great food at Hialeah Park.
It's amazing.
And we'll have a whole bunch of guests for you tomorrow on the show. All kinds of great talk. As always, we thank all of you out there for tuning in and keeping it locked here on the program. We love you for supporting our show every single day like you do on a text, on a tweet, viewing it, downloading, which is where most people listen to our show, downloading.
John, thank you for the pastelitos, brother.
And John Rouse, thank you for the pastelitos. I'm about to hit the pastelitos right now when we get off the air. We thank all of you out there. Much love. See you tomorrow at Craig's Inn from 9 to 11 and Hialeah Park from 1 to 4. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up when you're watching the YouTube broadcast and share the link with friends and family members and social media. Be good out there.
Y'all have a good one till tomorrow.